Chapter 15:14. Take it. Mo Qingyun came before Yin Tao, took out the snow cloud lotus, and handed it over to Yin Tao. Seeing Mo Qingyun handing over the snow cloud lotus, Yin Tao was overjoyed. He was extremely excited. In this way, the bet between him and Yin Yun ended with him winning. Yin Yun, remember our bet. Yin Tao waved the snow cloud lotus in his hand, indirectly reminding Yin Yun to stay away from Yuanli. Seeing Yin Tao's performance, Yin Yun's face was as dark as ink. He looked at Mo Qingyun and shouted angrily, "Yin Tao, it's a small world. Don't be too happy." As soon as Yin Yun finished speaking, he brought his followers and left the snow cloud valley dejectedly. While Yin Yun and Yin Tao were talking, Yuanli looked at Mo Qingyun curiously. She was curious about Mo Qingyun's background. Thinking about Mo Qingyun's actions, Yuanli could vaguely guess that Mo Qingyun did not want to interact with her. Otherwise, when Mo Qingyun obtained the snow cloud lotus, he would not have handed it over to Yin Tao. Instead, he would have directly handed it over to her. "Yuanli, the snow cloud lotus is already in my hands. Take it." Seeing Yin Yun and the rest leave, Yin Tao retracted his gaze and handed the snow cloud lotus to Yuanli. Looking at the snow cloud lotus that Yin Tao handed over, Yuanli was pleasantly surprised. She smiled sweetly at Yin Tao and said, "Yin Tao, thank you." Boom, boom, boom. At this moment, while everyone was talking, the snow cloud valley suddenly shook. Seeing such a situation, everyone was shocked and looked towards the depths of the snow cloud valley. They could feel that the source of the commotion was the deepest part of the snow cloud valley. Rumor has it that there's a group of golden immortal stage demonic beasts living in the deepest part of the snow cloud valley. It seems to be true. Who is it that provoked the group of golden immortal stage demonic beasts? If I'm not wrong, the person who provoked the group of golden immortal stage demonic beasts is most likely the charming young master. Charming young master? The charming young master who came to the Snow Ridge half a month ago? After some discussion, everyone gradually guessed the culprit. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. While everyone was discussing in shock, streaks of light streaked across the sky and flew past them. At the forefront of these streams of light was a young man dressed in white. He was standing on a green longsword and flying in the air. This man's appearance was extremely delicate and pretty. His skin was so white that it was enough to make women jealous. He was an extremely rare, handsome man. Behind this man, there were two old figures. Their auras were as strong as the man's. They were all golden celestial stage powerhouses. As for behind the three of them, there were 6 ferocious-looking monstrous beasts furiously chasing after the three of them. It really is charming young master. The hemp-clothed old man behind Charming Prince is the Qin clan's patriarch, Senior Qin Shuani. The person next to Senior Qin Shuani is Senior Zhou Chongbin of the Zhou clan. That's right. The two of them were recruited by the charming young master a few days ago. When everyone saw the 3 people in the sky, their faces were filled with shock as they recognized the 3 people. At the same time, they were extremely shocked that charming young master and the other 2 had really provoked a group of monstrous beasts. This charming young master, his appearance, while everyone was shocked, Mo Qingyun saw that the charming young master also had a shocked expression. This charming young master's appearance was exactly the same as Long Han Yin and Murong Qinyu. The only difference was that one of them was a man and the other 2 were women. Could it be that Han Yin and Qingyu's original bodies have male doppelgangers? When Mo Qingyun thought of this possibility, his head suddenly felt dizzy. He was somewhat unable to accept this result. Seeing Mo Qingyun's abnormal behavior, Yin Tao, who was next to him, was puzzled. He did not understand why Mo Qingyun would have such a reaction. In his impression, Mo Qingyun was not even afraid of a golden celestial of the great all-embracing heaven. He should not have such a reaction. "Mr. Mo, what's wrong with you?" Yin Tao could not help but ask. "It's nothing. That man just now looked very similar to a friend of mine." Hearing Yin Tao's question, Mo Qingyun gave a simple explanation. "Are you talking about the charming young master?" Seeing Mo Qingyun talking about the charming young master, Yuan Li's face was filled with excitement. Her eyes flashed with infatuation. Seeing Yuan Li's reaction, Mo Qingyun could not help but shake his head. He felt sad for Yin Tao and Yin Yan. These two guys were fighting to the death. It turned out that the one Yuan Li was truly infatuated with was an unrelated, charming young master. But then again, that charming young master who looked like Long Han Yin was indeed extraordinarily handsome. Can you tell me more about this charming young master? Seeing that Yuan Li knew about the charming young master, Mo Qingyun's face was filled with curiosity and anticipation. His tone was urgent as he asked Yuan Li. Seeing Mo Qingyun's reaction, Yuan Li did not decline. She immediately explained to Mo Qingyun. About a month ago, the charming young master came to the Snow Ridge mountain range to inquire about the whereabouts of the black ice crystal. Then he promised a huge reward and recruited a few powerhouses of the Golden Celestial Stage to enter the deepest part of the Snow Ridge mountain range with him to search for the black ice crystal. Yuan Li told Mo Qingyun everything she knew without missing a word. Thank you very much. After hearing Yuan Li's explanation, Mo Qingyun thanked her and said, I'll go and take a look. You guys can go back by yourselves. The teleportation portal. After Mo Qingyun finished speaking, he pointed in front of him. Soon, a whirlpool-like teleportation portal formed rapidly in front of him. Seeing that the teleportation portal had formed, Mo Qingyun lifted his leg and stepped into it. His figure instantly disappeared before everyone's eyes. He disappeared. Seeing that Mo Qingyun's figure had disappeared, Yin Tao and the others widened their eyes. They were stunned by Mo Qingyun's performance. This kind of method was beyond their understanding. Yin Tao, who is this Mr. Mo? Seeing that Mo Qingyun had used the teleportation portal, Yuan Li could no longer suppress her curiosity and immediately asked Yin Tao. After hearing Yuan Li's question, Yin Tao hesitated for a moment and said, Mr. Mo is actually my master. Master? Yuan Li's head was dizzy. Even if she had racked her brains, she would not have thought of this situation. Previously, she had actually said that Mo Qingyun was Yin Tao's servant. This was simply too wrong. Since he's your master, you should know him very well, right? Yuan Li could not help but ask again. I can only tell you that my master is a super genius of the Heavenly Soul Demon tribe. After hearing Yuan Li's question again, Yin Tao's expression was solemn. Then he said sternly, as for other things, don't ask too much. It won't do you any good. Heavenly Soul Demon Tribe. Yuan Li's expression was shocked. She was very shocked by Mo Qingyun's background and did not dare to ask any more questions. She knew that if it was not so important, Yin Tao would definitely tell her. Let's go. Chapter 15:15. Whoosh! After exiting the teleportation portal, Mo Qingyun was already 10,000 miles away, catching up to the charming prince and the others. I've caught up, seeing the charming prince and the others in the distance. Mo Qingyun's figure did not stop as he continued to chase after them. Traceless demon shadow, thunderous wind dash, raising his speed to the maximum. Mo Qingyun's flying speed was barely the same as the charming prince's. Just like that, the group continued to fly at such a high speed for a few days before coming to an end. After a few days, the 6 ferocious-looking demonic beasts returned unwillingly when they saw that they were unable to catch up to the charming prince and the others. That was close. These guys are really stubborn. They actually chased us for over 1,000,000 miles. Seeing the 6 demonic beasts return, the charming prince and a plump old man exclaimed with lingering fear. After lamenting for a while, the old man took out a Chinquan bag and handed it to the charming prince. Charming prince, this is the reward you gave me. I'll return it to you as it is. I can't do this job of yours. After the old man finished speaking, he turned around and left, leaving the charming prince and the plump old man looking at each other. Old man Qin, you can't be like old man Zhou and quit halfway. Seeing the old man leave, the charming prince frowned and tried to persuade the other old man. Old Qin's expression turned solemn when he heard the charming young master's words. With a righteous expression, he said, I still have my principles. Since I've agreed to help charming young master, I naturally won't go back on my word. Thank you, old Qin. After hearing old Qin's reply, the charming prince's expression relaxed as the worry in his heart eased significantly. If old Qin were to quit as well, he would have to find another helper. It was not easy to find a golden immortal helper. Which scoundrel are you? Come out at once. Stop hiding. Mo Qin had just approached the two of them when he was discovered by Old Man Qin. Old Man Qin attacked him with a finger. Facing Old Qin's finger, Mo Qin's figure immediately flashed and dodged Old Qin's attack by a hair's breadth. Mo Qin dodged Old Man Qin's attack, and his figure also appeared in the vision of the charming young master and the young master. A young man in the profound star realm. Was he the one who chased after us? Seeing Mo Qin's figure appear, the charming young master frowned. Clearly, he had already discovered that Mo Qin was following him. When Old Man Qin learned of Mo Qin's cultivation base, he was also shocked. A mere profound star level junior was actually able to dodge my attack. This kid is not simple. Perhaps it was because Mo Qin's performance had won their respect, causing them to not attack Mo Qin again. Why did you chase after us? What's the matter? Looking at the handsome young man in front of him, the charming young man looked quite curious and asked about Mo Qin's intentions. Hearing the charming young master's words, Mo Qin couldn't help but reveal an embarrassed smile. His expression became a bit awkward as he said, This, I actually chased after you because you look like a friend of mine. Because the charming young master was a man, Mo Qin didn't dare to say that he looked like Long Han Yin and Old Man Qin. In Mo Qin's view, rashly saying that a man looked like a woman was a kind of disrespect to him, especially when the other party was a golden immortal expert. If the other party misinterpreted his meaning, it might cause him to be angry and chase after him. This wasn't the situation that Mo Qin wanted to see. Oh, the charming young master's expression was a bit startled. With a curious expression, he said in a joking tone, Tell me, who is your friend? Since he looks like me, could he be my long-lost brother? In his life, this was the first time that someone had chased after him and said that he looked like a friend of his. Long-lost brother? This time, it was Mo Qin's turn to be startled. He didn't know how to answer such a question. Long Han Yin and Murong Qinyu were both women. Could it be that he really had to say that the charming young master looked like a woman? Brat, you hummed and hawed for a long time and didn't speak. Could it be that what you said just now was nonsense? Seeing that Mo Qin didn't respond for a long time, Old Man Qin revealed a displeased expression. He angrily shouted at Mo Qin and said, This old man will give you 3 breaths of time. If you can't give a reasonable explanation, see how this old man will be impolite to you. As Old Man Qin spoke, he released the aura of a golden immortal and pressed it towards Mo Qin. Hearing Old Man Qin's words, the charming young master's expression also became unsightly. Obviously, because of Old Man Qin's words, he also had some doubts about Mo Qin's words. Seeing the two people's expressions, Mo Qin helplessly shook his head and said, Charming young master, I hope you can remain calm when you see my friend. The charming young master and Long Han Yin looked very similar. Mo Qin felt that there should be some kind of secret relationship between the charming young master and Long Han Yin. Therefore, unless there was no other choice, Mo Qin didn't want to make a move against him. Moreover, in order to clarify the doubts in his heart, Mo Qin had to let Murong Qinyu meet the charming young master. Hearing Mo Qin's words, the charming young master slightly frowned. He didn't understand Mo Qin's words. Okay, although he didn't understand Mo Qin's meaning, the charming young master still nodded his head. Seeing the charming young master's action, Mo Qin no longer hesitated and moved Murong Qinyu out of the 5 directions small pagoda. Qinyin, why did you call me out? Coming out of the 5 directions small pagoda, Murong Qinyu had a puzzled expression and asked Mo Qin. Without waiting for Murong Qinyu to finish her words, she was stunned on the spot. She looked at the charming young master with a shocked expression. The man in front of her looked exactly the same as her. This feeling was too strange. She really looks exactly the same as me. Seeing Murong Qingyu in front of him, the charming young master was also stunned. He felt that his brain wasn't enough. This situation was too unexpected. This old man Qin was also dumbfounded. He was confused by this scene. Originally, he thought that Mo Qingyun's words were nonsense. He didn't expect it to be true. Originally, what he said was true. After verifying that what Mo Qingyun said was true, the charming young master looked at Mo Qingyun with a kind gaze. However, he didn't want to admit that he had any relationship with Murong Qingyu. He said with an indifferent tone, "Wasteland Continent is so big. It's not strange for there to be a few people who look like you." The charming young master simply evaded with a sentence to clear up his relationship with Murong Qingyu. He expressed that there was no relationship between him and Murong Qingyu. However, people with discerning eyes could see that the charming young master's tone was somewhat guilty. Clearly, he didn't dare to confirm his words. Chapter 15:16. I also think that Han Yin and I have nothing to do with him. Hearing the charming young master's words, Murong Qingyu responded, not to be outdone. She showed a competitive appearance. Seeing Murong Qingyu's action, the charming young master's expression turned cold. He said indifferently, "You talk to me like this, aren't you afraid that I will kill you? With Qingyu here, I don't believe that you can touch me." Facing the charming young master's strong attitude, Murong Qingyu stared without showing any weakness with her beautiful eyes. She didn't show any cowardice. At this moment, Murong Qingyu's action showed her endless trust in Mo Qingyu. She firmly believed that no matter how strong the other party was, Mo Qingyu would protect her and wouldn't let her suffer any harm. "You?" Hearing Murong Qingyu's words, the charming young master's expression changed slightly. He looked at Mo Qingyu with surprise. He was very puzzled. Mo Qingyu was only at the profound star realm. Why would Murong Qingyu trust him so much? Even if Mo Qingyu's flying speed was very fast, it was limited to his body movement. Even if Mo Qingyu's body movement was better, when facing a golden immortal realm expert, he might be killed in an instant if he wasn't careful. Not to mention that Mo Qingyu was facing 2 golden immortal realm experts and still had to protect a person at the minor star realm. "Don't worry, I'm here. Nothing will happen." Hearing Murong Qingyu's words, Mo Qingyu smiled faintly at her. He comforted her and said, "I'll send you back to the 5 directions, small pagoda first. Leave everything else to me." "Okay." Hearing Mo Qingyu's words, Murong Qingyu didn't continue to stay. Her figure flashed and returned to the 5 directions, small pagoda. She also knew that in the current situation, if she stayed, she would only cause trouble for Mo Qingyu. After sending Murong Qingyu back to the 5 directions, small pagoda, Mo Qingyu began to change the topic, diverting the attention of the charming young master and the charming young master. He said, "I heard that you went to the deepest part of the Snow Cloud Valley to find a mysterious ice mother. Those 6 golden immortal realm demon beasts should be the demon beasts guarding the mysterious ice mother." Not bad. The charming young master did not hide anything from Mo Qingyu's inquiry. He revealed a puzzled expression and asked in return, "This doesn't seem to have anything to do with you, right? If you don't have anything else to say, you should leave. I don't have the time to get close to you." Judging from the charming young master's behavior, he looked the same as Mo Qingyu, so he didn't have a good impression of Mo Qingyu. Hearing the charming young master's words, Old Man Qin also revealed an impatient expression. He waved his hand at Mo Qingyu and said, "Brat, before this old man changes his mind, disappear from my sight immediately." Mo Qingyu did not take the actions of the charming young master to heart. He replied with a faint smile, "Perhaps I can help you deal with the 6 golden immortal stage demonic beasts." "You?" Hearing Mo Qingyu's words, the charming prince and Old Man Qin's expressions immediately turned suspicious. A person in the star realm actually said that he could deal with golden immortal stage demonic beasts. Was there anything more boastful than this? However, seeing Mo Qingyun's serious expression, the charming young master unconsciously believed that what Mo Qingyun said might be true. You don't believe me? Seeing the charming young master's doubtful expression, Mo Qingyun smiled faintly and did not explain further. Combination gate. A light gate with two grooves quickly formed above Mo Qingyun and emitted a terrifying sealing power. Under this sealing power, the charming young master and old man Qin were shocked. They looked at Mo Qingyun in disbelief. Under this sealing power, their cultivation base was weakening and was about to fall below the golden immortal stage. They really didn't expect Mo Qingyun to have such a remarkable ability that could seal the cultivation base of the enemy. At this moment, they finally believed Mo Qingyun's words. Mo Qingyun really had such an ability. Seeing the charming young master and old man Qin's expressions, Mo Qingyun immediately withdrew the combination gate and said with a faint smile, "Now, you should believe my words, right? I underestimated you. You can really help me." Seeing the power of the combination gate, the charming young master nodded with a faint smile. His attitude toward Mo Qingyun improved a little. He asked with a curious expression, "Tell me, why do you want to help me? Just now, I wanted to kill your friend. Because you look like Han Yin and Qin Yu." Mo Qingyun gave a simple reply to the charming young master's question and did not explain further. Hearing Mo Qingyun's answer, the charming young master's expression was slightly stunned, and his expression became even more curious. He smiled and said, "You're really interesting. Can you tell me who this Han Yin is? Can you let me meet her for a while? Is she the girl just now?" The charming young master asked several questions in a row. He was very curious about Long Hanyun's identity. If he had not met Mo Qingyun today, he would not have known that there was someone in the world who looked exactly like him. No, the one you saw just now was Qin Yu. In the future, you might have a chance to meet Han Yin. Mo Qingyun shook his head and gave a simple reply to the charming young master. He then said, "Let's go. I will accompany you to hunt those demonic beasts." Okay. The charming young master nodded and did not continue asking. The curiosity in his eyes was even stronger. The young man in front of him gave him a feeling like a mystery. Suddenly, there was a friend who looked exactly like him in front of him, who had an amazing flying speed and a heaven-defying sealing ability. All of this made Mo Qingyun shrouded in mystery. If I could understand this kid's ability, wouldn't my strength be? While Mo Qingyun and the charming young master were talking, old man Qin's eyes flickered and his expression revealed a trace of greed. But due to the charming young master's presence, he did not dare to show it. He only silently plotted in his heart. Next, the three of them flew towards the deepest part of the snow cloud valley, each with their own thoughts. Perhaps it was because they wanted to test Mo Qingyun, but when the charming young master and old man Qin flew, they used all their strength. But what surprised them was that Mo Qingyun was still chasing after them. Moreover, he did not show any signs of spiritual energy exhaustion. Seeing Mo Qingyun's performance, their evaluation of Mo Qingyun immediately increased by several points. This young man was not simple. If it was an ordinary person at the star accumulation position, under such high-intensity flight, their spiritual energy would have been exhausted long ago. They did not know that Mo Qingyun possessed the Fortune Mainland. The immortal spiritual energy it contained was so abundant that it could not be judged by common sense. Several days later, Mo Qingyun and the other two flew at full speed and arrived at the Snow Cloud Valley. Now that Mo Qingyun was following them, the charming young master did not have any scruples and directly charged towards the demonic beast's nest. Chapter 15:17. Roar, roar, roar. As the saying goes, when enemies meet, their eyes turn red. When the demonic beasts saw that the charming young master had returned, they immediately opened their eyes wide and roared. Then the 6 demonic beasts flew out of their nests and surrounded Mo Qingyun and the other two. Seeing that the 6 demonic beasts were surrounding them, the charming young master and Old Chin's expressions tightened, and they could not help but panic. Just now, they were no match for the 6 demonic beasts, even when they joined forces with Old Joe. Now that Old Joe was not here to help them, they were even less of a match for the 6 demonic beasts with their combat strength alone. At this moment, the charming young master and Old Chin were praying that Mo Qingyun would not make any mistakes. Although they had seen Mo Qingyun's methods, that was only for cultivators. Demonic beasts and cultivators had different physiques. Before seeing the effects with their own eyes, they did not dare to say that Mo Qingyun's methods would work on demonic beasts. As they were in a hurry to take revenge and were shocked by Mo Qingyun's methods, the two of them did not think too much about it. Now that they were surrounded by 6 demonic beasts, they could not help but think too much about it. Combination gate. Just as the charming young master and Old Chin were panicking, Mo Qingyun used the combination gate to seal the bloodline and soul of the 6 demonic beasts. Soon, a light gate with 2 grooves formed above Mo Qingyun and the other 2, emitting a terrifying sealing force. The combination gate emitted a sealing force, and Mo Qingyun controlled it to seal the bloodline and soul of the 6 demonic beasts. Roar, roar, roar. With their bloodline and soul suppressed, the 6 demonic beasts immediately became restless and roared crazily. Then, the cultivation of the 6 demonic beasts began to weaken and fell out of the golden immortal stage in the blink of an eye. Hurry up and do it. Because the difference in cultivation is too great, I can't suppress them for long. After using the combination gate to seal the 6 demonic beasts, Mo Qingyun pretended to be strained and urged the charming young master and Old Chin. Because the combination gate was too powerful, Mo Qingyun did not want anyone to know about it and could use it without any scruples. The main reason he did this was to create a false impression, to make the charming young master and his companion think that there were harsh conditions to use the combination gate. Kill. Hearing Mo Qingyun's urging, charming prince and Old Man Chin did not dare to hesitate and immediately attacked the 6 demonic beasts. They didn't know how long Mo Qingyun could seal the 6 demonic beasts. Therefore, the earlier they killed the 6 demonic beasts, the safer everyone would be. Singing while drunk, how long is life? The charming young master walked drunkenly as he swung his long sword in a natural and unrestrained manner, slashing out streaks of golden sword shadows. Upon closer inspection, one would be able to see that there were golden words within the sword images. Those golden words were like the foundation of the formation, increasing the power of the sword shadow by many times. Sizzle. When the sword shadow landed on the demonic beast's body, it released bolts of lightning that attacked the demonic beast's body. Very quickly, the thick scales on the demonic beast's body were bombarded with wounds. What a powerful sword technique! Seeing the charming young master's attack, Mo Qingyun's expression changed as he looked at the charming young master. The Tao that this charming young master has comprehended should be the wine Tao and the literature Tao. He has fused the power of wine and literature into his moves, increasing the power of his moves by many times. Compared to the charming young master's attack, Old Man Chin was much weaker. He had only comprehended the ordinary power of the fire Tao. In addition, Old Man Chin was very wary of these demonic beasts, so he was very cautious when he attacked. Following that, Old Man Chin's attack did not pose much of a threat to the 6 demonic beasts. Seeing such a scene, Mo Qingyun sighed in his heart. This Old Man Chin was too cautious. Although the cultivation of the 6 demonic beasts had all fallen out of the golden immortal realm, their comprehension of the Tao was not affected at all. Therefore, the weakening of the 6 demonic beasts' strength was not particularly frightening. As such, it would not be an easy task for the charming young master and Old Man Chin to kill them. For the 6 demonic beasts to be able to cultivate to the golden immortal realm, they had already gained intelligence and were all cunning old foxes. After fighting with the charming young master and Old Man Chin for a while, they realized that Mo Qingyun was the culprit who had sealed their cultivation. Knowing that Mo Qingyun was the culprit, the six demonic beasts did not want to be entangled with the charming young master and Old Man Qin. They wanted to find a chance to kill Mo Qingyun. After a while, one of the demonic beasts retreated from the battle and quickly charged towards Mo Qingyun. Moon in the water, moon in the mirror, moon in the lonely sky. Seeing this demonic beast charging towards Mo Qingyun, the charming young master's expression was shocked. The long sword in his hand turned in the air. The long sword rotated in mid-air and slashed out a full moon sword light, bombarding towards the demonic beast. Facing this sword radiance attack, the demonic beast's forward movement was greatly hindered. After forcing the demonic beast to retreat, the charming young master did not dare to hesitate and immediately came in front of Mo Qingyun. He was very clear that without Mo Qingyun suppressing the demonic beast cultivation, he had no hope of killing the six demonic beasts. Therefore, no matter what, he could not let Mo Qingyun be killed. Follow me closely. Don't be more than 1,000 meters away from me. Coming to Mo Qingyun's side, the charming young master had a solemn expression as he warned Mo Qingyun sternly. All right. Mo Qingyun nodded. He also knew that without the charming young master's protection, his situation was still very dangerous. Unless he used the fusion gate and raised his cultivation to the constellation realm. However, if he did that, his trump card would be exposed. This was not what he wanted to see. So fragrant. Standing beside the charming young master, a faint fragrance gradually drifted into Mo Qingyun's nose. Smelling the fragrance on the charming young master's body, Mo Qingyun opened his eyes wide and could not help but take a few more glances at the charming young master. This charming young master actually had the fragrance of a young girl. This was too unexpected. Don't be distracted. Seeing Mo Qingyun looking at him strangely, the charming young master's face turned slightly red as he reminded Mo Qingyun sternly. Hearing the charming young master's words, Mo Qingyun stopped thinking about it and focused on guarding against the attacks of the six demonic beasts. This can't go on. With the charming young master and the charming young master's strength, it might not be possible to kill the six demonic beasts. After observing the battle for a while, Mo Qingyun frowned slightly as he realized that the situation was not optimistic. He thought to himself, could it be that I have to expose some trump cards? What should I do now? Mo Qingyun thought for a short while and made a decision. He decided to expose the bloodline of the Heavenly Soul Demon Clan. Bloodline suppression. After Mo Qingyun made his decision, he did not hesitate and immediately used the bloodline superpower. Instantly, a terrifying bloodline power was activated in Mo Qingyun's body. Then, a threatening blood mist burst out from Mo Qingyun's body and enveloped the surrounding area with a diameter of 1 mile. The six demonic beasts were enveloped by the blood mist, and their bloodlines were immediately suppressed. The strength that they could unleash was once again reduced sharply. Then, the charming young master and the charming young master's pressure was immediately reduced. P.S. The 5th update is here. Please give me some recommendation tickets and monthly tickets. For those who don't have a bookstore, please do. Chapter 1518. What a powerful bloodline. It's at least in the top 20 of the 10,000 Archean tribes board. It might even be in the top 10. Sensing the strength of Mo Qingyun's bloodline, the charming prince was shocked. He was even more curious about Mo Qingyun's identity. He thought to himself, it seems that Mr. Mo's identity is not simple. He should be a genius from a big tribe. I should investigate him if I have the chance. Seeing Mo Qingyun's powerful bloodline, Old Man Qin's face twitched. His expression became serious as he asked doubtfully, who is this kid? Not only does he have a powerful bloodline, but he also knows a heaven-defying ability. Could he have an expert secretly protecting him? At this moment, Old Man Qin's expression showed a trace of hesitation. He restrained his desire for Mo Qingyun. He couldn't guarantee that a monstrous genius like Mo Qingyun wouldn't have an expert secretly protecting him. If Mo Qingyun had an expert secretly protecting him, and he had other thoughts about Mo Qingyun, it would be no different from seeking death. Hurry up and attack. I can't hold on for long. Seeing that the charming prince and old man Qin were distracted, Mo Qingyun pretended to be struggling and hurriedly urged them. Hearing Mo Qingyun's urging, the charming prince and old man Qin's expression darkened. They immediately attacked the 6 demonic beasts. The strength of the 6 demonic beasts was weakened again. Facing the charming prince and old man Qin's attacks, they were immediately overwhelmed. In a short while, the 6 demonic beasts died under the charming prince and old man Qin's swords. After the charming prince killed the 6 demonic beasts, he was immediately overjoyed. He couldn't wait to rush into the demonic beast's lair. Seeing the charming prince's actions, old man Qin glanced at Mo Qingyun and followed him into the demonic beast's lair. After the charming prince and old man Qin entered the demonic beast's lair, Mo Qingyun didn't follow them. He still stood in midair. To Mo Qingyun, there was nothing more precious than the souls of 6 golden, immortal demonic beasts. Spirit Summoning Gate. Mo Qingyun didn't waste any more time when he saw the charming prince and young master leave. He immediately executed the Soul Summoning Gate. Soon, a powerful aura was emitted from the Spirit Summoning Gate. Not long after, 6 gigantic ghosts stood neatly in front of Mo Qingyun. 6 golden immortal ghosts. With them by my side, my safety is guaranteed. Looking at the 6 golden immortal ghosts before him, Mo Qingyun revealed a bright smile and kept them into the 5-directional pagoda. The 6 golden immortal stage ghosts were retrieved by Mo Qingyun. After entering the lair, the charming young master and the young man returned to the front of Mo Qingyun. Looking at the charming young master's happy expression, he should have gotten what he wanted. As for old man Qin, his face was also brimming with a smile. He should have had a good harvest as well. Mr. Mo, I have obtained the Black Ice Crystal Mother. I should return to the clan. The charming young master came to Mo Qingyun and said goodbye to Mo Qingyun. He took out a jade pendant and threw it to Mo Qingyun. This is my identity jade pendant. If you have the chance to come to the Purple Jade Mandarin Phoenix clan, you can bring this jade pendant to me. My name is Han Wenyu. Okay. Mo Qingyun accepted the jade pendant and nodded to the charming young master. After exchanging a few pleasantries with Mo Qingyun, the charming young master raised his hand and made a hand seal. He summoned his long sword and flew away. As for old man Qin, the charming young master didn't pay any attention to him. It was as if old man Qin didn't exist at all. However, it made sense. He and old man Qin only had a mutually beneficial relationship. Now that the matter had been settled, there was no need to talk nonsense with old man Qin. In the charming young master's opinion, old man Qin's status was not worth his attention. On the other hand, although Mo Qingyun's cultivation was low, his potential was limitless. Old man Qin, if that's the case, I will also take my leave. Seeing that the charming young master had left, Mo Qingyun didn't want to stay any longer. He said goodbye to old man Qin. After all, old man Qin was a powerhouse in the Golden Celestial Stage. Out of respect for a powerhouse in the Golden Celestial Stage, Mo Qingyun still said goodbye to him. Seeing that Mo Qingyun was about to leave, old man Qin smiled and came to the front of Mo Qingyun. He said with a smile, "My young friend, your talent is extraordinary. I have never seen anyone like you in my life. I feel like old friends at first sight. Are you willing to do me a favor and come to my cave abode for a visit? Sorry to disturb you." Seeing old man Qin's hospitality, Mo Qingyun didn't want to spoil his mood. He nodded and accepted old man Qin's invitation. The reason why Mo Qingyun agreed to old man Qin's invitation was that he had 6 golden celestial stage ghosts to protect himself. He wasn't worried that old man Qin would play any tricks. "My young friend, this way please." Seeing that Mo Qingyun had agreed to his request, a cold smile appeared on old Qin's face. Following that, Mo Qingyun flew toward old man Qin's cave abode with old man Qin leading the way. On the way to old man Qin's cave abode, old man Qin asked Mo Qingyun many questions. He wanted to test Mo Qingyun's background. After beating around the bush, Old Man Qin was finally sure that Mo Qingyun didn't have any powerhouses protecting him. After discovering this, Old Man Qin could no longer disguise himself and stopped flying. Seeing that Old Man Qin had stopped, Mo Qingyun asked with a puzzled expression, "Old Man Qin, what's wrong?" Since he didn't want to pretend anymore, Old Man Qin sneered and said, "My young friend, I'm very curious about your divine sense that can seal other people's cultivation. I wonder if you can share it with me. If you agree, I won't mistreat you." Seeing Old Man Qin's reaction, Mo Qingyun guessed his intentions. Originally, Old Man Qin invited him because he coveted the combination gate. This old man was really greedy. Unfortunately, the battle prowess that Mo Qingyun controlled now was far too different from before. "Old Man Qin, aren't you being too impatient? Even if you want to discuss divine sense, you should at least invite me for a cup of tea." Mo Qingyun had an indifferent expression and looked at Old Man Qin with disdain. He smiled faintly and talked with Old Man Qin. Seeing Mo Qingyun's reaction, Old Man Qin frowned and showed a trace of vigilance. In his opinion, Mo Qingyun's reaction was too calm. Could it be that there was a trap? Soon after, Old Man Qin released his soul energy and carefully checked the surroundings. He was afraid that there were powerhouses hiding in the surroundings. Sensing Old Man Qin's soul energy, Mo Qingyun knew what Old Man Qin was doing. He became even more disdainful and said, "Old Man Qin, don't worry. There are no powerhouses secretly protecting me. You actually guessed my thoughts." Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Old Man Qin's expression changed and became even more guilty. He said, "Boy, don't bluff. I advise you to be sensible and hand over the divine sense. You're really too impatient." Mo Qingyun shook his head and became even more disdainful of Old Man Qin. He said indifferently, "Old man, since you're in such a hurry to die, I can only help you." Chapter 15:19. Golden Celestial Ghosts. Seeing the ghost beside Mo Qingyun, Old Man Qin was so frightened that his face twitched and his body started to tremble. Never in his wildest dreams would he have thought that there would be such ghosts beside Mo Qingyun. What made Old Man Qin even more frightened was that these 6 ghosts looked exactly the same as the 6 demonic beasts from before. Their numbers are the same, and they look the same. Could it be? A terrifying thought suddenly sprouted in Old Man Qin's mind. He could not help but exclaim in horror, "You can summon the spirits of the dead and make them your subordinates?" Although Old Man Qin knew that his guess was ridiculous, the truth was right in front of his eyes. He had no choice but to believe it. "Your guess is quite accurate. However, this is not enough for me to spare you." Seeing that Old Man Qin had guessed the ability of the soul summoning gate, Mo Qingyun did not hide it. He ordered the ghosts with a cold expression and shouted, "All of you, attack now and kill this old man." After receiving Mo Qingyun's order, the 6 ghosts of the Golden Celestial Stage roared and charged toward Old Man Qin with their bloody mouths wide open. Combination Gate. When the 6 ghosts charged toward Old Man Qin, Mo Qingyun also performed the Combination Gate in order to end the battle as soon as possible. Soon, a terrifying sealing power descended upon Old Man Qin's body. Puff! After being sealed by the power of the Combination Gate, Old Man Qin's chi and blood were blocked, and his divine soul was injured. He could not help but spit out a mouthful of blood. Following that, Old Man Qin's cultivation level dropped from the Golden Celestial Stage to the half-step Golden Celestial Stage. "No, don't kill me. As long as you don't kill me, I will do anything you want me to do." Old Man Qin's cultivation level dropped from the Golden Celestial Stage to the half-step Golden Celestial Stage. He immediately cried out in panic. He had no choice but to be afraid. With his cultivation level at the half-step Golden Celestial Stage, how could he be a match for 6 ghosts at the Golden Celestial Stage? Let alone 6, he could not even defeat one of them. After hearing Old Man Qin's words, Mo Qingyun frowned slightly and ordered the 6 ghosts to stop. In any case, Given the current situation, Mo Qingyun was not afraid that Old Man Qin would be able to escape. Most importantly, with 6 golden immortal stage ghosts surrounding him, whether or not Old Man Qin would dare to run was another matter. If you want me to spare your life, open up your sea of consciousness immediately and let me plant a soul imprint in it. Mo Qingyun had a cold expression on his face as he ordered Old Man Qin. His tone was emotionless. The reason why Mo Qingyun asked Old Man Qin stay was that he thought it would be more convenient to have a servant at the golden celestial stage by his side. Furthermore, although he could obtain a golden immortal ghost after killing Old Man Qin, it would not be a permanent golden immortal powerhouse. With the passage of time, the strength of the golden immortal ghost would continue to weaken. Hearing Mo Qingyun's request, Old Man Qin revealed a bitter expression. He was somewhat unwilling to do so. He was very clear that once the soul imprint was planted in his sea of consciousness, he would become Mo Qingyun's servant. He was a golden immortal powerhouse. How could he become the servant of a true immortal? It would be too degrading for him. However, if he dared to refuse, he would face death. This was not something he was willing to accept. I promise you. After struggling for a while, Old Man Qin finally gave in and decided to save his life first. For an old monster like Old Man Qin who had lived for countless years, staying alive was more important than anything else. Following that, Mo Qingyun planted a soul imprint in Old Man Qin's sea of consciousness. Qinzhan greets my master. Looking at the young man in front of him, Old Man Qin's expression was complicated as he bowed respectfully. Now, he regretted it so much that his intestines turned green. If he had known this would happen, even if he was beaten to death, he would not have done anything bad to Mo Qingyun. I know that you have a lot of unwillingness in your heart to become my servant. Looking at Old Man Qin's expression, Mo Qingyun smiled faintly and pointed out Old Man Qin's thoughts. Seeing that his thoughts were seen through by Mo Qingyun, Old Man Qin revealed an awkward smile. He quickly smiled apologetically at Mo Qingyun and said, "I dare not. It's normal for you to have such thoughts. After all, the gap between our cultivation is too big." Mo Qingyun did not believe Old Man Qin's explanation. He simply explained and then changed the topic. "However, I can tell you for sure that in the future, you will find that becoming my servant is the most fortunate thing in your life." Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Old Man Qin remained silent. No one knew what he was thinking. "All right, let's go." Ignoring Old Man Qin's thoughts, Mo Qingyun instructed him and got up to go to Yin Tao's mansion. Seeing Mo Qingyun's action, Old Man Qin did not dare to hesitate and followed behind Mo Qingyun respectfully. Along the way, Mo Qingyun and Old Man Qin did not speak. They each had their own thoughts as they headed to the snow ridge. After a few hours, Mo Qingyun and Old Man Qin flew at a steady pace. They returned to the snow ridge and arrived at Yin Tao's mansion. "Master, you are back." Knowing that Mo Qingyun had returned to his mansion, Yin Tao immediately rushed over and stood respectfully in front of Mo Qingyun. Miss Yuan Li, who had come with him, sized Mo Qingyun up curiously. Golden celestial realm." When Yin Tao and Old Man Qin saw Old Man Qin, they were so frightened that their legs turned to jelly. Old Man Qin was an elite in the golden celestial realm. He was the most powerful existence in the snow ridge. Looking at Old Man Qin's actions, he seemed to be afraid of Mo Qingyun. It was as though he was Mo Qingyun's servant. Could it be that Old Man Qin is also Master's servant? When this thought appeared in his mind, Yin Tao was so frightened that his tongue trembled. He felt that it was unbelievable. If that was the case, Mo Qingyun was too awesome. He had even subdued an elite in the golden celestial realm. Phew! Yin Tao took a deep breath. After sorting out his emotions, he reported to Mo Qingyun, "Master, there is a map of the 9 Immortal Mountain. It is said that in half a month's time, there will be a large-scale auction in the ancestral territory of the Myriad Treasures tribe. The map of the 9 Immortal Mountain will be auctioned." Oh! After hearing Yin Tao's report, Mo Qingyun's expression changed slightly. He smiled faintly. If that was the case, everything would be easy. Take me there immediately. Since there was news about the map of the 9 Immortal Mountain, Mo Qingyun did not want to waste any time. He was ready to go there immediately. After hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Yin Tao showed a troubled expression. He said bitterly, "Master, the ancestral territory is very far away. With my current cultivation, it will take me less than a month to reach there. I'm afraid I can't lead the way for you. The distance between the Snow Ridge and the ancestral territory of the Myriad Treasures tribe is so far." After hearing Yin Tao's answer, Mo Qingyun was surprised. He was surprised by Yin Tao's answer. Without someone to lead the way, he could not go to the ancestral territory of the Myriad Treasures tribe. Chapter 15:20. If that's the case, take me there. Hearing Qin Zhan's words, Mo Qingyun's face lit up, and he immediately stood up from the stone bench. Qin Zhan was in the golden immortal stage, so it was naturally better for him to lead the way than Yin Tao. Time is running out before the auction. Let's set off now. In order to prevent any unforeseen events on the way, Mo Qingyun decided to set off earlier so that there would be more time. After Mo Qingyun finished speaking, he walked out of the courtyard, and Qin Zhan immediately followed. Then, under the gaze of Yin Tao and the others, Mo Qingyun left the territory of the Myriad Treasures clan's Shueling clan. Due to the urgency of the journey, Mo Qingyun did not ride the golden-crowned snake-feathered eagle, but chose to fly with Qin Zhan. On the way, what made Qin Zhan want to vomit blood was that his spiritual power was already exhausted, but Mo Qingyun was still full of energy. After all, Mo Qingyun was in the accumulative star realm, while he was in the golden immortal stage. As a result, he lost to Mo Qingyun in terms of spiritual power, which was really a blow to him. Although they encountered some troubles on the way, they were all solved by Qin Zhan, so Mo Qingyun was able to relax. 10 days passed in the blink of an eye. After 10 days of continuous travel, Mo Qingyun and Qin Zhan stopped in front of a huge mountain range. Standing in front of this huge mountain range, Qin Zhan showed a solemn expression and said to Mo Qingyun, "Master, after crossing the Lion Camel Mountain in front of us, we will enter the territory of the Myriad Treasures clan's ancestral bloodline. Counting the time, there's still 5 days before the auction begins, so there is enough time." Mo Qingyun calculated the time, and his expression became much more relaxed. They finally caught up. He said to himself, "Next, we just need to enter the territory of the Myriad Treasures clan's ancestral bloodline and wait for the auction to begin." Seeing that there was enough time before the auction began, Mo Qingyun sat down cross-legged and planned to adjust his breath before leaving. Bang, bang, bang. While Mo Qingyun was resting, his eyes suddenly twitched, producing a strong sense of unease. When this feeling appeared, Mo Qingyun's brows furrowed as he coldly surveyed his surroundings. He could feel a strong, killing intent emanating from the surroundings and locking onto his body. While Mo Qingyun was looking around, he didn't forget to release his soul force to sense where the enemy was hiding. Unfortunately, the other party was obviously very good at hiding. No matter how carefully he sensed, he could not find the enemy's hiding place. If you want to attack me by hiding, I'm afraid I'll have to disappoint you." Mo Qingyun didn't panic, even though he couldn't sense the other party with his soul power. Instead, he coldly shouted at the people around him. The surroundings were silent. No one answered Mo Qingyun's question. The combination gate can form an energy sealing domain with a diameter of 10 miles. I don't believe that you can continue hiding. Seeing that the other party was still hiding, Mo Qingyun revealed a cold smile. His face was filled with amusement. Combination gate. A glowing gate with 2 grooves quickly formed above Mo Qingyun, emitting a terrifying sealing power. Under the pressure of this sealing power, all the birds and beasts within a radius of 5 kilometers immediately fled in all directions in fear. As these birds and beasts fled, 3 figures gradually appeared, standing in the air in front of Mo Qingyun. When these 3 figures appeared, Mo Qingyun immediately recognized one of them. It was Yuan He, who had used a secret technique to escape the other day. You and he and the other two were sealed by the power of the combination gate. Traces of blood hung from the corners of their mouths. It seemed that the sudden attack of the combination gate had injured the three of them. I was wondering who it was, hiding like a rat. So it's you, the loser. Mo Qingyun mocked Yuan he as he looked at him in the air. Then he glanced at Qin Chong and the other two in disdain and said, "Last time, you were lucky enough to escape. You didn't hide when you saw me. Instead, you came looking for death." When Yuan he and the other two appeared, Mo Qingyun had already sensed their cultivations. As a result, he did not take them seriously. Among the people he controlled, there were already 7 golden celestial powerhouses. It was much more powerful than Yuan he's group. Even if he did not use the combination gate, he could still kill Yuan he and the other two in a head-on clash. "Oomph. I was careless last time. You won't be so lucky this time." Hearing Mo Qingyun's mocking words, Yuan he's expression darkened. He defended himself and pointed at Qin Chong, who was beside him, and said, "Senior brother Qin Chong is a powerhouse at the Golden Immortal stage. With him here, you won't be able to escape today. Just a golden celestial powerhouse. He can't do anything to me." Glancing at Qin Chong, Mo Qingyun curled his lips in disdain. He did not take Qin Chong seriously at all. Seeing Mo Qingyun's behavior, Qin Chong snorted in displeasure. His gaze fell on Qin Zhan, and he said, "Kid, you can be so calm now. You must be relying on the power of that old man, right? He's at the peak of the minor body stage." When Qin Chong glanced at Qin Zhan's face twitched as he sensed Qin Chang's cultivation level. The golden celestial stage was the same as the true celestial stage. It was also divided into 4 stages. They were the molded golden body, the minor golden body, the great golden body, and the indestructible golden body. Qin Zhan was only at the molded golden body stage of the golden celestial stage. Qin Chong was already at the peak of the minor golden body stage. The gap between the two was still very big. "Kid, a molded golden body stage cultivator can't protect you." Looking at the panicked Qin Zhan, Qin Chong smiled proudly and said, "Even if you use this magic to seal part of my cultivation, that old man still can't stop me." "Oh, is that so? What if there are a few more golden celestial stage powerhouses?" Hearing Qin Chang's arrogant words, Mo Qingyun's smile deepened. His expression revealed a hint of mockery. Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Yuan He, who was next to him, laughed sinisterly. With a disdainful expression, he mocked, "Mo Qingyun, I don't know what price you pay to make this golden celestial stage powerhouse promise to protect you. But do you think golden celestial stage powerhouses are cabbages? You can have as many as you want." At this moment, without waiting for Yuan He to finish his words, his face began to twitch. He could no longer say the latter half of his sentence. Golden celestial stage. A total of 6 golden celestial stage ghosts stood neatly behind Mo Qingyun. "Sorry, golden celestial stage powerhouses are really no different from cabbages to me." After summoning the 6 golden celestial stage ghosts, Mo Qingyun responded with a faint smile. His gaze fell on Qin Chong as he said, "As for him, he's the same in my eyes. He's no different from cabbages." After Mo Qingyun finished speaking, he ordered Qin Zhan and the ghosts to kill Yuan He and the other two. Chapter 1521. Run, run. Mo Qingyun isn't someone we can deal with. Qin Chang's face twitched violently as he watched the 6 golden immortal ghosts rushing toward him. He shouted in panic. After saying those words, Qin Chong didn't dare to stay any longer. He immediately turned around and ran away. Those were 6 golden immortal ghosts. Moreover, each of them had the aura of the little gold clone. They weren't something Qin Chong could contend with. Seeing Qin Chong turn around and run for his life, Yuan He and Qin Wentian didn't dare to stay any longer. Even Qin Chong had started to run for his life. If they continued to stay, wouldn't that be equivalent to courting death? After that, Qin Chong and the other two fled like stray dogs with terrified expressions. "Didn't you just say that I wouldn't be able to escape today?" Why are you running for your life now? Seeing Yu Wenhe and the other two running away, Mo Qingyun had a mocking expression on his face as he chased after them. When Mo Qingyun chased after Yu Wenhe and the other two, Qin Zhan and the 6 golden immortal ghosts also followed closely behind. Traceless demonic shadow, thunder and wind path. Mo Qingyun caught up with Chun Chong and the other two in a few flashes. He raised his hand and punched toward them. Sky Soul Sealing Fist. Mo Qingyun punched out. Suddenly, the sky changed color as a terrifying immortal spiritual power gathered in midair. In a short while, a giant black fist formed above Chun Chong and the other two. When the giant black fist was formed, it blasted toward Chun Chong and the other two below, instantly hitting them. Boom! A loud sound rang out. A huge fist shadow appeared around Chun Chong and the other two, enveloping the 3 of them. Seeing such a scene, Chun Chong and the other two's expressions immediately trembled and their faces turned pale. If they couldn't get rid of Mo Qingyun and the others, once they were besieged by the 7 golden immortal ghosts, they were basically doomed. As Chun Chong and the other two panicked, Mo Qingyun came in front of them and opened up a gap in the Sky Soul Sealing Fist. Then, Qin Zhan and the 6 golden celestial ghosts entered the interior of the Heaven Sealing Fist. Seeing that Qin Zhan and the ghost had entered the fist shadows, Chun Chong and the other two's faces became even paler and revealed a look of despair. Mo Qingyun was not in the mood to care about what Chun Chong and the others were thinking, and he continued to help Qin Zhan and the ghost attack. Subsequently, Chun Chong was besieged by the 6 golden celestial stage ghosts and was forced into a passive position. As for Yu Wenhe and the other two, they were attacked by Qin Zhan and were also beaten passively. Now, under the suppression of the combination gate, the 3 of them couldn't even display half of their cultivation. They simply weren't a match for Qin Zhan's group. Senior brother Qin Chong, save me. Under Qin Zhan's tyrannical attacks, Zhou Zhe and Yu Wenhe, who were surrounded by danger, begged Qin Chong for help with terrified expressions. Unfortunately, Chun Chong couldn't even protect himself now, so how could he spare the energy to save them? Without Qin Chang's rescue, Yu Wenhe and Zhou Zhe, who were only at the Constellation Realm, were killed by Qin Zhan one after another. After killing Yu Wenhe and Zhou Zhe, Qin Zhan's actions didn't stop. He immediately charged towards Chun Chong to help the ghosts deal with Qin Chong. Seeing such a scene, Chun Chang's face immediately trembled, and his face became as pale as a sheet of white paper. Mo Qingyun, don't be complacent. I'll remember today's debt. Facing the siege of 7 golden celestial stage experts, Chun Chong revealed a resolute expression and took out a mirror. Universe Reversal Transfer Mirror. When Chun Chong took out this mirror, it emitted an ancient aura, as if it was an expert from the desolate antiquity era. After taking out this mirror, Qin Chong no longer hesitated and immediately activated the mirror. Then, the mirror blossomed with a dazzling light, enveloping Chun Chong in the light. As Chun Chong was enveloped in the light, his body gradually faded and appeared in the distance where the light shone. After escaping from the siege of Qin Zhan and the others, Chun Chong didn't dare to hesitate in the slightest. His figure immediately flashed and escaped. Bang! The moment Chun Chong escaped, the mirror he took out also shattered, turning into pieces of broken mirror. Seeing such a scene, Mo Qingyun's expression froze. He revealed an astonished expression and said, I didn't expect Qin Chong to have such a treasure. It seems that I've underestimated him, as expected of the disciple of a perfected golden celestial. Seeing that Chun Chong had escaped, Mo Qingyun didn't care. He casually collected the corpses of Yu Wenhe and Zhou Zhe. In any case, even if he killed Qin Chong, there would be others coming to kill him. It didn't matter if Qin Chong was killed. Let's go. After collecting all the ghosts, Mo Qingyun said to Qin Zhan and took the lead to fly forward, heading towards the ancestral territory of the Myriad Treasures race. Mo Qingyun was worried that since Chun Chong and the other two had arrived, perhaps other disciples of Xian, Xiao, might also be nearby. In order to avoid unnecessary trouble, it was better for him to leave as soon as possible. The earlier he entered the myriad treasures race, the safer he would be. On the following journey, Mo Qingyun didn't encounter any danger. Everything was smooth sailing. After half a day, Mo Qingyun and Zhou Zhe flew at full speed and arrived at the ancestral territory of the myriad treasures race. In Mo Qingyun's eyes, the ancestral territory of the myriad treasures race looked a bit like a trade market. In the ancestral territory of the myriad treasures race, vendors could be seen selling all kinds of rare items along the street. Rare treasures of the desolate era. Everyone, please don't miss this. Little brother, this is the sea-calming divine pearl spear. Do you want to take a look? Everyone, come and take a look. The longevity lamp of the desolate era can prolong one's life. For a moment, all kinds of shouting entered Mo Qingyun's ears. Seeing such a scene, Mo Qingyun couldn't help but smile bitterly. He didn't know what to say. Why was the ancestral territory of the myriad treasures race similar to a market of mortals? Vendors were shouting and trying to cheat people. After a simple walk in the ancestral territory of the myriad treasures race, Mo Qingyun didn't find anything good and didn't want to walk around anymore. Immediately, Mo Qingyun found an inn in the ancestral territory of the myriad treasures race and waited for the auction to begin in a few days. After a while, Mo Qingyun walked in front of a restaurant called Longevity Residence and walked in with Qinzhan. Perhaps because the auction was about to begin, business in the restaurant was very good. The hall was almost full of people. 2 rooms, please. Glancing at the hall of the restaurant, Mo Qingyun walked to the counter and asked the waiter for 2 rooms. Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, the shopkeeper took out the superior rooms and pondered for a moment before saying, "Sir, there are no more superior rooms in our restaurant. We only have inferior rooms left. Would you like 2 of them?" Inferior rooms? Mo Qingyun frowned slightly. He hesitated for a moment before nodding and saying, "Since there are no first-class rooms, how about 2 low-class rooms?" Chapter 1522. In a first-class guest room of the Fusho Residence Restaurant, a beautiful girl was sitting in front of a dressing table, quietly combing her hair. While the girl was combing her hair, an old woman walked in with a kind smile on her face. "You little girl, where did you go this time? Grandma was worried about you for many days." Hearing the old woman's words, the girl showed a playful expression and said coquettishly to the old woman, "Grandma, didn't I come back safely? You must keep the fact that I secretly left a secret for me. Don't tell father, okay? It's fine if you don't tell patriarch, but you must remember not to do it again." Seeing the young girl acting coquettishly, the old woman revealed a doting expression. She gently tapped the young girl's forehead and said, "Only a little girl like you can make this grandma worry. If it was your clan brothers who dare to act like this, I would have smacked their butts long ago. He, you knows that grandma loves me the most." Hearing the old woman's words, the girl showed a playful smile and raised her hands to hold the old woman's arm. Seeing the girl's action, the old woman's expression became even gentler. She raised her hand to stroke the girl's hair and sighed. "In the blink of an eye, you've grown so big. Time really flies. It seems that I have to admit that I'm old." Upon hearing the old woman's words, the young girl giggled and said, "Granny, with your cultivation base, you can live for at least 1,000,000 years. You're only tens of thousands of years old. According to the age ratio of mortals, you're still a young girl." "You little rascal, how dare you make fun of Grandma?" Hearing the girl's words, the old woman immediately smiled. The doting in her expression became even stronger. After chatting with the old woman for a while, the young girl's expression suddenly changed. She thought of something very important and said, "Granny, when I went out to play this time, I met a very strange young man. Not only did he have shocking talent and almost heaven-defying abilities, but there was also a woman by his side who looked exactly like me." "Pata!" Hearing the girl's words, the old woman's body trembled and the walking stick in her hand fell to the ground. Seeing the old woman's reaction, the girl showed a puzzled expression and asked, "Grandma, what's wrong? Do you know that young man?" The old woman did not answer the young girl's question. Instead, she asked with a serious expression, "Where did you see that young man?" "I'm near the territory of the Snow Ridge branch of the Myriad Treasures tribe." Seeing the old woman's abnormal behavior, although the young girl was puzzled, she still answered truthfully. "The Snow Ridge bloodline?" The old woman frowned and muttered, "After the auction is over, follow me to the Snow Mountain Range. I want to meet that young man. Grandma is looking for him." The young girl's eyes widened. She was very surprised by the old woman's words. After pondering for a moment, she said, "Right, when I parted with that young man, I gave him my identity jade pendant. I can find him through the connection with the jade pendant." As the young girl spoke, she unconsciously sensed the jade pendant. Then, she revealed a shocked expression and said, "Grandma, I can sense that my identity jade pendant is nearby. He seems to be in this restaurant." "Oh." The old woman was surprised by the young girl's words. She immediately stood up and said, "Since he is in the restaurant, take me to him immediately." "Okay." The young girl nodded and left the room with the old woman. Seeing that Mo Qingyun had asked for 2 low-class rooms, the shopkeeper asked a waiter to bring Mo Qingyun and the young girl to the rooms to rest. "2 guests, please come this way." Hearing the shopkeeper's instructions, the waiter showed a respectful expression and led Mo Qingyun and the young girl to the rooms. From Qin Zhan's momentum, the waiter could guess that Qin Zhan was a golden celestial powerhouse. A person who could be protected by a golden celestial powerhouse must have an extraordinary identity. This was not something that the waiter could neglect. After a while, Mo Qingyun and the young girl were led to the rooms that they had asked for. What surprised Mo Qingyun was that the 2 guest rooms that they had asked for were actually occupied by other people. Seeing this, not only were Mo Qingyun and the young girl surprised, but even the waiter was dumbfounded. Immediately, the waiter picked up the key in his hand and matched the number of the rooms in front of him to see if he had gone to the wrong place. After some comparison, the key in the waiter's hand was the key to these 2 rooms. Seeing the waiter's action, the people in the rooms sneered at Mo Qingyun and the young girl. "Don't look at the key. The array of these 2 rooms has been broken by us. A simple level 4 array is not a problem for our Master Chan Fa. Kid, we'll take these 2 rooms. Do you want to change to another room? Or do you want to sleep on the streets? Disappear in front of us while we are in a good mood. Otherwise, don't blame us for being rude to you. By the way, since you are here, give us the keys to the rooms." These people were arrogant and made outrageous demands to Mo Qingyun. Seeing these people's actions, Mo Qingyun frowned slightly, and his expression gradually turned cold. He said, "I will give you a chance to live on account of the owner. Get out of my room immediately." These people's cultivation was not high. They were only at the constellation level. Mo Qingyun did not care about their strength. If these people did not know what was good for them, Mo Qingyun would not mind throwing them all out of the Fusho restaurant. Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, the faces of the people in the room immediately turned ugly. While everyone was in a bad mood, Master Chan Fa walked out and glanced at Mo Qingyun disdainfully. He said, "Boy, do you know who our master is? Our master is the young master of the Sky-Devouring Wolf Clan." "Sky-Devouring Wolf Clan?" Mo Qingyun frowned when he heard Master Chan Fa's words. He thought back to what Xia had told him. It seemed that when Xia left the Nine-Tailed Fox Clan, she was captured by the Sky-Devouring Wolf Clan. That was how she met Lang Ping and was brought to the Tianhan continent by Lang Ping. Mo Qingyun had promised that if he encountered the members of the Heaven-Devouring Wolf Clan, he would definitely annihilate them. Who would have thought that he would actually meet the Sky-Devouring Wolf Clan after so many years? If that was the case, then this young lord that Master Chan Fa spoke of, Mo Qingyun, would not let him go. "Boy, are you mute? Or are you too scared to speak?" Master Chan Fa's face darkened when he saw that Mo Qingyun was silent for a long time. He scolded Mo Qingyun again. In his opinion, Mo Qingyun must be too scared to speak after hearing about the Sky-Devouring Wolf Clan. After all, the Sky-Devouring Wolf Clan was ranked in the top 100 of the 10,000 ancient races. Chapter 1523. Throw them out. Mo Qingyun glanced at Master Chun Fa and the others as if they were idiots and ordered Qinjian. As soon as Mo Qingyun finished his words, he walked into the room and ignored Chun Fa and the others. After receiving Mo Qingyun's order, Qinjian no longer hesitated and immediately grabbed Chun Fa and the others. A violent, immortal spiritual energy burst out from Qinjian's palm and turned into a huge palm shadow. Soon, Chun Fa and the others were caught by the huge palm and directly thrown out of the room like chickens. Seeing that they were thrown out of the room by Qinjian, Master Chun Fa and the others looked gloomy and angrily pointed at Mo Qingyun and Qinjian. They really didn't expect that Mo Qingyun would dare to treat them like this after knowing their identity. What's going on? When Chun Fa and the others angrily shouted at Mo Qingyun, a cold voice came from behind them. When Chun Fa and the others heard this voice, they all looked happy and quickly surrounded the person who spoke. Soin, young lord, this guy is so unreasonable. He forcibly took our room. Oh, there's such a thing. Hearing Master Chun Fa's words, Soin's expression changed and showed a hint of displeasure. When he wanted to take your room, did you mention my name? We did, but it didn't work. Not only that, we were thrown out by this guy because we mentioned your name. Soin, young lord, this guy doesn't put you in his eyes. You must not let him go easily. Yes, we should capture him, then take off his clothes and hang him on the city gate. Hearing Soin's question, Master Chun Fa and the others exaggerated the story and told him what happened. Even mentioning my name didn't work? Hearing the words of Master Chun Fa and the others, Soin's face darkened and his expression was full of anger. Soin pushed Chun Fa and the others away and slowly walked forward. He glanced at Mo Qingyun and Qinjian and said, Kid, this young lord is going to miss you later. I don't want to stain my hands with blood. If you kowtow to this young lord and admit your mistake, then give up the room. I won't argue with you. Hearing Soin's words, Mo Qingyun's eyes slightly narrowed and looked at him with disdain, but he didn't hurry to answer him. Seeing Mo Qingyun's reaction, Soin's expression became even worse and impatient. He urged, Kid, did you hear me? I'll give you 10 seconds to think, if you can't make the right choice. As soon as Soin finished speaking, he began to count down, and his expression became colder and colder. Granny, my identity jade card is over there. Mr. Mo should be in front. While Soin was counting down, a young girl and an old woman slowly walked toward the crowd. As the old man and the young girl approached, the people around them immediately recognized them and showed a respectful expression. Greetings, Miss You and Dragon Snake. Greetings, Senior Dragon Snake and Miss Wenyu. Then, the crowd stepped back and made way for the old woman and the young girl. Miss You. Seeing the young girl and the old woman, Soin's expression immediately became happy. He excitedly went up to them and said, Soin, young lord of the Sky-Devouring Wolf Clan, greets Miss Han Wenyu and Dragon Snake. Oh, Han Wenyu nodded indifferently when she heard Soin's greeting. Then, she waved her hand impatiently and said, I know who you are. Go do your own thing. From the beginning to the end, Han Wenyu did not even look at Soin. After a while, Han Wenyu and Dragon Snake arrived in front of Mo Qingyun. Han, you're not Han Yen. Mo Qingyun's expression changed when he saw Han Wenyu in front of him. His emotions fluctuated violently. Soon, Mo Qingyun could tell that this girl was not Long Han Yen. The girl in front of him was just another girl who looked like Long Han Yen. What are you looking at? Don't you recognize me? Han Wenyu blushed when she saw Mo Qingyun looking at her in shock. Then, she said shyly, I'm Han Wenyu. Han Wenyu. Mo Qingyun frowned as his mind raced. Then, he revealed a surprised expression and said, You're the charming young master. Mo Qingyun was speechless when he guessed the other party's identity. It turned out that the other party was a girl. No wonder Mo Qingyun smelled a young girl's fragrance when he stood beside her the last time. At least you still have some conscience and did not forget about me. Han Wenyu smiled playfully when she saw that Mo Qingyun recognized her. Then, She stared at Mo Qingyun reproachfully. While Mo Qingyun and Han Wenyu were talking, the dragon snake looked serious and stared fiercely at Han Wenyu. Han Wenyu stuck out her tongue and made a ghost when she saw the dragon snake's action. She did not dare to continue talking to Mo Qingyun. The dragon snake stopped Han Wenyu from talking. Then, he released the aura of a Daluo Golden Immortal. A Daluo Golden Immortal. The aura of the dragon snake is too terrifying. Everyone's expression changed when they felt the pressure of the dragon snake's aura. Everyone felt a chill down their spine. Then, these people quickly retreated to avoid the pressure of the dragon snake's aura. At the same time as he retreated, Zhong Yin revealed a cold smile. A sense of complacency arose in his heart as he thought to himself, "Brat, you dare to covet Lady Wenyu? Now that you've angered Granny Dragon Snake, I like to see how you're going to endure her wrath." Soin thought that Mo Qingyun was just an unknown country bumpkin. How dare he try to get close to Han Wenyu? He really did not know his place. Now that the dragon snake was here, it was obvious that he wanted to punish and warn Mo Qingyun to keep his distance from Han Wenyu. Under the pressure of the dragon snake's aura, Mo Qingyun activated the power of his bloodline and immortal spiritual energy to resist the pressure of the dragon snake's aura. As Mo Qingyun activated his heavenly soul bloodline, 10 soul stars that emitted a bewitching light appeared between his eyebrows, adding to his seductive aura. 10 soul stars, a king-level heavenly soul demon bloodline. Seeing the soul stars between Mo Qingyun's eyebrows, the dragon snake was shocked. She looked at Mo Qingyun and thought to herself, "This kid's talent is even stronger than the geniuses of the heavenly soul demon clan. Why have I never heard of him before?" At this moment, the dragon snake was puzzled. She was even more curious about Mo Qingyun's identity. Then, the dragon snake retracted her aura and looked at Mo Qingyun with admiration. Chapter 1524. Teach him a lesson. Hearing Soin's words, Dragon Snake and Han Wenyu's expressions froze. They didn't understand Soin's words. Did they say that they wanted to teach Mo Qingyun a lesson? After being stunned for a moment, Han Wenyu's pretty face turned cold. She felt a sense of disgust towards Soin. They were having a good chat with Mo Qingyun, but this guy said that he would help her teach Mo Qingyun a lesson. He really ruined the atmosphere. "Mr. Mo, do you have a conflict with him?" Ignoring Soin, Han Wenyu turned to look at Mo Qingyun and asked about the conflict between Mo Qingyun and Soin. Hearing Han Wenyu's question, Mo Qingyun smiled faintly. He shook his head and said, "I don't know where this wild dog came from. I don't dare to argue with it. I don't want to be bitten by it. That wouldn't be worth it." Puffed. Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Han Wenyu immediately covered her mouth and laughed. She gave people the feeling that her smile was enough to topple cities. Seeing Han Wenyu's expression, the surrounding people were all stunned. They looked at Han Wenyu with infatuation, unable to extricate themselves. Wild dog. Compared to Han Wenyu's joy, Soin's face immediately darkened when he heard Mo Qingyun call him that. He was from the sky-devouring wolf clan. Mo Qingyun's words were obviously mocking him for being from the sky-devouring dog clan. Although wolves and dogs looked similar, there was a huge difference when it came to calling people. "Kid, you?" Hearing Mo Qingyun's mocking words, Soin's face darkened. He gritted his teeth and glared at Mo Qingyun. This kid dared to humiliate him like this in front of Han Wenyu. He definitely couldn't forgive Mo Qingyun. But what made Soin want to vomit blood was that before he could get angry at Mo Qingyun, Dragon Snake said coldly, "Your room is too shabby. Even the defensive formation has been broken. Go and change to a superior room." "Thank you for your kindness, Senior. The superior rooms in the Fusho restaurant are all full. I can't change even if I wanted to." Hearing Dragon Snake's words, Mo Qingyun cupped his hands in thanks and shrugged helplessly. "I see." Dragon Snake's expression changed. She glanced at Soin, who was next to her. She said, "I remember that you're living a superior room. Room a lesson. Change your room with Mr. Mo's room." "Me? Changing rooms with him?" Hearing Dragon Snake's words, Soin was instantly stunned. He looked like he was about to cry. She couldn't bully him like this. Who did he offend? Why did she have to change rooms with Mo Chinyan? His current situation was a perfect example of the saying, if you don't succeed, you'll get screwed. Originally, his subordinates wanted to snatch Mo Chinyan's room. In the end, not only did they fail, but they also ended up losing his superior room. This was 2F** King unfair. Before Soin could say anything, Dragon Snake's expression darkened. She urged Soin coldly, "All right, you don't have to say any more nonsense. Take your things away now and give the room to Mr. Mo." When Dragon Snake said this, she emitted a cold aura. Soin couldn't help but shiver. Soin was sure that if he dared to say anything, Dragon Snake would kill him. A terrifying existence like Dragon Snake wouldn't care about Soin's identity. She wouldn't care if he was the young master of the sky-devouring wolf tribe. If he was killed by Dragon Snake, even his father, the leader of the sky-devouring wolf tribe, wouldn't dare to say anything. He had no choice. The sky-devouring wolf tribe was only ranked around 100 on the 10,000 Archean tribes board, while the purple jade wand phoenix tribe was ranked in the top 20. The difference in strength between the two was too great. The sky-devouring wolf tribe wouldn't offend the purple jade wand phoenix tribe because of him. After all, he wasn't worth it. If he angered Dragon Snake because of this and was killed by Dragon Snake in a rage, then he would die in vain. Yes, Soin recognized his place. He left dejectedly and gave the room to Mo Chinyan. "Let's go." Han Wenyu smiled sweetly when she saw Soin leave dejectedly. She beckoned Mo Chinyan to leave with her. Mo Chinyan nodded and walked away with Han Wenyu under the envious gazes of the crowd. Who is that young master? Why does Miss Han Wenyu think so highly of him? Miss Han Wenyu isn't the only one who thinks highly of him. Dragon Snake also thinks highly of him. There seems to be a star seal on that young master's forehead. It seems to be the symbol of his tribe. Among the tribes with star seals, the Ghost Star tribe is ranked in the top 720, and the Flame Star tribe is ranked in the top 428. You forgot to mention one more. The Heavenly Soul Demon tribe, ranked 4th on the 10,000 Archean tribes board, also has a star seal on their forehead. Heavenly Soul Demon tribe? It can't be. Everyone was guessing Mo Chinyan's background as they watched him walk away. The more they guessed, the more shocked they became. If Mo Chinyan was really from the Heavenly Soul Demon tribe, then his background was too powerful. Soin could not afford to offend him. Of course, no one would remind Soin of this. After a while, Soin, who had gone to change rooms, returned with a gloomy face and a cold aura. "Young Master Soin, what should we do now? Do you want to move to another restaurant?" Master Chun Fa and the others asked Soin softly when they saw Soin's unhappy face. Soin's face darkened when he heard Master Chun Fa and the others' question. Master Chun Fa and the others were too ignorant. They had touched a sore spot. "Change my ass. Do you think other restaurants will have superior rooms?" Soin roared at Master Chun Fa and the others. His eyes were cold, and he wanted to cut them into pieces. He said angrily, "If you guys did not have a conflict with Mo Chinyan, would the young lord have ended up like this?" Soin thought that Master Chun Fa and the others were the reason he was treated like this. Yes. It's all our fault. Please calm down, young Master Soin. Give us a chance to make it up to you. Young Master Soin, why don't we find some people to get rid of that kid?" After being scolded by Soin, Master Chun Fa and the others panicked. They tried to calm down Soin's anger. Hearing everyone's words, Zhong Yin's expression turned for the better. His expression was still displeased as he said, "We naturally can't let that brat off, but now is not the time. Right now, he's with Granny Dragon Snake. We can't touch him right now." Soin analyzed the situation. He waved at one of the people and said, "Go find some people and watch that kid's every move. When the auction is over, I will deal with him slowly." Chapter 1525. Soin, young lord, since you're staying in this low-class room, let's get a few more rooms. Seeing that Soin and the others had already taken 2 of the rooms, Master Chun Fa decided to get a few more rooms. Seeing Chun Fa and the others' actions, Soin's face immediately darkened. He angrily shouted at them, "You still want to stay in the guest rooms? Fix the formation right now, and then all of you can go sleep on the streets." Now that he mentioned the guest rooms, Soin's heart was filled with anger. He was already staying in the low-class room, but Chun Fa and the others still wanted to stay in the guest rooms. It was already good enough that he didn't make them sleep in the garbage. If it weren't for Chun Fa and the others, he wouldn't have ended up in such a sorry state. Yes, yes, yes. Looking at the angry Soin in front of them, Chun Fa and the others were dissatisfied, but they didn't dare to show it. They couldn't help it. After all, they were under the control of Soin and had to do things according to his wishes. Seeing that Chun Fa and the others had started to fix the formation, Soin ignored them and angrily returned to his room. While they were fixing the formation, Chun Fa and the others felt as if they had eaten a dead fly. If they had known that they would have to fix the formation again, they wouldn't have broken it. While Soin and the others were feeling depressed, Emo, Qingyun, and Dragon Snake went to Han Wenyu's room together. "Little guy, I heard from Wenyu that you have two friends who look exactly like her." When they arrived at Han Wenyu's room, Dragon Snake didn't beat around the bush and directly asked Emo Qingyun. Hearing Dragon Snake's question, Emo Qingyun didn't hide it and nodded. He admitted, "That's right. My two friends do look exactly like Miss Han. When my cultivation was still low, one of my friends was taken away by the 1,000 Illusions tribe. I suspect that Miss Han is the same as my two friends. They are the doppelgangers of one of the powerhouses of the 1,000 Illusions." Emo Qingyun believed that with Dragon Snake's status and experience, she should be able to guess this possibility. Therefore, he didn't have to hide anything in front of Dragon Snake. 1,000 Illusions. It's really them. Hearing Emo Qingyun's story, Dragon Snake's expression changed. She seemed to have expected this result. Seeing the change in Dragon Snake's expression, Han Wenyu was confused and asked, "Granny, is the 1,000 Illusions that you're talking about the 1,000 Illusions that is ranked 72nd on the 10,000 Ancient Tribes board?" You can say yes, but you can also say no. Dragon Snake didn't answer the question. Then she shook her head and said with a heavy expression, "The 10,000 Ancient Tribes board that you know only includes some familiar tribes. Actually, there are many powerful and mysterious tribes in the Wasteland continent that aren't included in the 10,000 Ancient Tribes board." Emo Qingyun agreed with Dragon Snake's words. For example, the powerful Dark Demon tribe wasn't included in the 10,000 Ancient Tribes board. Since the Dark Demon tribe was an exception, there was naturally no guarantee that there wouldn't be other exceptions. Isn't this very normal? Not being included in the 10,000 Ancient Tribes board means that their strength isn't enough. Hearing Granny Dragon Snake's words, Han Wenyu instinctively understood her words and did not think deeper into it. Dragon Snake smiled faintly at Han Wenyu's words and didn't argue with her. Dragon Snake looked at Emo Qingyun and requested, "Little guy, can you call your friend out and let me meet her?" "Sure." Emo Qingyun nodded and agreed to Dragon Snake's request. He knew that Dragon Snake didn't have any ill intentions towards him. Otherwise, she wouldn't have spoken in such a tone. More importantly, with Dragon Snake's powerful cultivation, Emo Qingyun didn't have the ability to resist. In that case, what difference did it make whether he agreed or not? He might as well cooperate a little. Very quickly, Emo Qingyun moved Murong Qinyu out of the five-direction small pagoda and appeared in front of Dragon Snake. Following Murong Qingyu's appearance, Dragon Snake immediately sighed and her expression became even more solemn. From the current situation, she already had an answer to her conjecture. If nothing unexpected happened, Han Wenyu and Emo Qingyun's two friends were the doppelgangers of some almighty in the 1,000 Illusions. Seeing Dragon Snake's solemn expression, Emo Qingyun hesitated for a moment and couldn't help but ask, "Senior, you just said that the 1,000 Illusions is on the 10,000 Ancient Tribes board and not on the 10,000 Ancient Tribes board. What does that mean? Could it be that there's something hidden in the 1,000 Illusions?" Dragon Snake seemed to have expected that Emo Qingyun would ask this question. She didn't show any surprise and said indifferently, Actually, the 1,000 illusions on the 10,000 ancient tribe board is just an outer tribe. The strength of their inner tribe is far from what you can imagine. There's actually an inner tribe and an outer tribe. Hearing Dragon Snake's words, Mo Qingyun's expression immediately changed. He was very surprised by this news and said in surprise, "Just the outer tribe's strength is enough to be ranked 72nd on the 10,000 ancient tribes board. If there's an inner tribe, wouldn't it be even more terrifying? If Wenyu's original body is just an outer tribe of the 1,000 illusions, it's still easier to deal with. If it's an inner tribe, it'll be troublesome." Dragon Snake revealed a distressed expression as she thought about how to resolve Han Wenyu's matter. Based on her judgment, the inner tribe of the 1,000 illusions was definitely not weaker than the top 5 on the 10,000 ancient tribes board. More importantly, the cultivation methods of the inner tribe and the outer tribe were different, resulting in the same outcome for the clones. Senior, what's the difference between the outer tribe and the inner tribe of the 1,000 illusions? In Mo Qingyun's opinion, if it was just a difference in strength, Dragon Snake wouldn't be so distressed. Hearing Mo Qingyun's question, Dragon Snake pondered for a moment before explaining. The 1,000 illusions can cultivate countless identities, but what everyone doesn't know is that there's a huge difference between these clones. Dragon Snake paused for a moment to calm her agitated emotions before continuing. The identity of the outer tribe of the 1,000 illusions is just a clone that they condense. It's only slightly more precious than an ordinary clone. However, the clones of the inner tribe of the 1,000 illusions are completely different. Every clone that they condense is a clone that has gone through a lifetime of reincarnation. When the time comes, it will fuse with the memories of the original body and become one. There's actually such a difference. After listening to Granny Dragon Snake's story, Mo Qingyun's brows furrowed tightly, and his mood immediately became heavy. This was the outcome that he didn't want to see the most. Mo Qingyun already had an ominous feeling that one day, Long Han Yin and the other girls would be fused with his original body. Chapter 1526. From the current situation, Long Han Yin, Murong Qingyu, and Han Wenyu were most likely the clones of the 1,000 illusions. If they were not reincarnated, why would there be such a big difference in their backgrounds? No matter who you are, I will not allow you to take Han Yin away from me. Thinking about the identities of Long Han Yin and the other two, Mo Qingyun secretly clenched his fists and silently made a decision. While Mo Qingyun was pondering, Dragon Snake curiously glanced at Mo Qingyun and said, "Little guy, this old one has some connections with the Heavenly Soul Demon Clan. I have been to the Heavenly Soul Demon Clan a few times, so I have some understanding of the younger generation of the Heavenly Soul Demon Clan. Why have I never heard of you? Not good, my identity is going to be exposed." Hearing Dragon Snake's words, Mo Qingyun was startled. His brain quickly turned, and he explained, "I don't know if Senior has heard of this before. In some powerful clans, once there is a situation where two heroes fight for supremacy, one of them will be sent out to experience and grow on his own." Mo Qingyun did not know whether this excuse could fool her or not. The only thing he could do now was to gamble. "Could it be that you are—" Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Dragon Snake was startled. The way she looked at Mo Qingyun changed greatly. She exclaimed, "Relying on your own strength, you were able to grow to this extent. This is really unexpected for this old one. You are even more outstanding than the geniuses of the Heavenly Soul Demon Clan. Senior is overpraising me. I still have a long way to go." Mo Qingyun smiled modestly. His hanging heart was finally at ease. He knew that Granny Dragon Snake had said this because she believed his excuse. Not arrogant and not rash. Not bad, not bad. Hearing Mo Qingyun's humble words, Dragon Snake was full of admiration. She praised Mo Qingyun and said, "Compared to you, Tung Xiao, that arrogant brat, is really too weak." Tung Xiao? Mo Qingyun frowned and remembered this name. He might meet this person in the future. Since this person was remembered by Dragon Snake, he must not be a simple character. Little fellow, have you ever thought of returning to the Heavenly Soul Demon Clan? If you do, I can send you there. After chatting with Mo Chingyun for a while, the dragon snake had a good impression of Mo Chingyun. She wanted to send Mo Chingyun back to the Heavenly Soul Demon race to be nurtured. Return to the Heavenly Soul Demons? Now, Mo Chingyun's expression was one of shock. He was very surprised by Dragon Snake's words. To be honest, he had come all this way alone and was already used to relying on his strength. He had never thought of returning to the Heavenly Soul Demon Clan and borrowing their strength to grow. Mo Chingyun's mind raced as he weighed the pros and cons of the situation, trying to think of a way to answer the dragon snake. Now is not the time yet. After thinking for a while, Mo Chingyun had an answer in his heart. He decided not to return to the Heavenly Soul Demon Clan for the time being. Thank you for your kind intentions, Senior. Mo Chingyun clasped his hands and expressed his gratitude to Dragon Snake. He smiled faintly and tactfully rejected her offer. Senior, you should know that the secret fights between the large clans are extremely fierce. I have been wandering alone for so long. If I return to the Heavenly Soul Demon Clan, I will have no one to rely on. If I accidentally get involved in any fights, my situation will become very worrying. It is better for me to continue wandering around freely. Dragon Snake was stunned. She did not expect Mo Chingyun to have such a thought. Mo Chingyun's consideration was not bad. As the saying went, the tallest tree in the forest will be destroyed by the wind. With Mo Chingyun's terrifying talent, once he returned to the Heavenly Soul Demon Clan, he would definitely become the enemy of the younger generation. This would not be good for Mo Chingyun. It was better for him not to return. I can't tell that you have such a thorough and far-sighted view of the problem. Dragon Snake smiled faintly and nodded her head at Mo Chingyun in praise. Then she said, "You are right. It is indeed not suitable for you to return to the Heavenly Soul Demon Clan now. With your talent and potential, if you return to the Heavenly Soul Demon Clan, you will definitely attract the jealousy and hatred of the younger generation. Indeed, it will bring you endless trouble. It is better for you to continue wandering outside. It is not too late for you to return when you can protect yourself. Thank you for your understanding, Senior." Seeing that Dragon Snake did not force him, Mo Chingyun's expression relaxed. He finally put down the worries in his heart. He was really afraid that Dragon Snake would forcefully send him back to the Heavenly Soul Demon Clan out of kindness. If that happened, his situation would be terrible. In a situation where he was unfamiliar with the place, he might be assassinated. In the Heavenly Soul Demon Clan, there were many experts who had surpassed the Zenith Heaven Golden Immortal Realm. More importantly, with so many powerful eyes, Mo Chingyun did not dare to guarantee that his secret could be kept for long. If his secret was exposed, he could not guarantee that the experts of the Heavenly Soul Demon Clan would not covet his secret. After that, Mo Chingyun chatted with Han Wenyu for a while more. Then, he left Han Wenyu's room. Little you are quite lucky to have met such an impressive person. Seeing Mo Chingyun walk out of the room, Dragon Snake had a look of admiration on her face. She praised Mo Chingyun once again. Hearing Dragon Snake's words, Han Wenyu was shocked. It was as if she did not know Dragon Snake. Han Wenyu smiled craftily and teased. "Grandma, this is the first time I've seen you praise someone so generously since I was young." "Oh, that seems to be the case." Hearing Han Wenyu's words, Dragon Snake suddenly realized that she had praised Mo Chingyun a little too much today. After a brief moment of surprise, Granny Dragon Snake smiled kindly and sighed. "But speaking of which, this little fellow called Mo Chingyun is really quite pleasing to Granny's eyes. Work hard for me in the future and snatch this brat into your hands. Make him change the way he calls me Granny like you." "Granny, you are making fun of me." With Han Wenyu's intelligence, how could she not understand that Dragon Snake was trying to matchmake her and Mo Chingyun? How could a woman take the initiative in this kind of matter? Wouldn't that be too embarrassing? Seeing Han Wenyu's reaction, Dragon Snake smiled meaningfully and did not say anything else. She sighed inwardly. "Silly girl, From the moment Mo Qingyun met that Long Hanyin and Murong Qingyu, you are already destined to be entangled with him in this life. However, Dragon Snake would not say this. It was better to let nature take its course. Thinking about Han Wenyu's identity, Dragon Snake's expression became more serious. She said with a melancholy expression, "I don't know how far this little fellow, Mo Qingyun, will grow in the future. Can he be like that almighty from the desolate era, forcefully retaining the memories of a reincarnated doppelganger, so that she and the original body can be indistinguishable?" Chapter 1527. When Mo Qingyun returned to his room, he immediately entered the five-directional pagoda, preparing to cultivate and increase his cultivation. The more he learned about the secrets of the wild continent, the more pressure he felt, and the more he realized his own insignificance and his lack of cultivation. Originally, he thought that the 1,000 illusions was just an ordinary tribe of gods, just a little stronger. Now that he heard Dragon Snake's words, he knew that he was gravely mistaken. There were so many secrets in the 1,000 illusions and the differences between the inner and outer tribes. The difference in strength between the two was so great. Fortunately, he heard Dragon Snake's words. Otherwise, if he rushed to the 1,000 illusions one day, he would be in trouble. When Qian Xiuqiao went to the heavenly soul continent, her cultivation was similar to mine. How did she know about Han Yan's identity? And how did she go to the heavenly soul continent? Mo Qingyun sat in the five-directional pagoda with a contemplative expression. His heart was filled with confusion and doubt. "Forget it. I won't think about it anymore. I'll figure out in the future." After thinking hard for a while, Mo Qingyun habitually chose to escape and not think about this problem. In Mo Qingyun's opinion, many things were like this. The more you wanted to know the answer, the more you couldn't find out. On the other hand, sometimes you didn't care about the answer, but you could always find the answer you didn't expect. This was what they meant by cunning people. Casting aside all distracting thoughts, Mo Qingyun took out a large number of immortal stones and piled them around him. The Devouring Gate. When Mo Qingyun used the Devouring Gate, it exploded with a terrifying suction force, extracting the immortal spiritual energy contained in the immortal stones. Streaks of immortal spiritual energy flew into the Devouring Gate like thin threads. The immortal spiritual energy was sucked into the Devouring Gate and immediately transferred into Mo Qingyun's body, allowing him to refine and absorb it. Seeing the immortal spiritual energy enter his body, Mo Qingyun didn't hesitate and immediately began to refine the immortal spiritual energy. Now that his realm had stabilized, he could let loose and increase his current cultivation. Time passed slowly as Mo Qingyun cultivated. In the blink of an eye, 3 days had passed, and the day of the auction had arrived. The peak of the accumulated star position, only one step away from the minor star position. At this moment, Mo Qingyun, who was in the middle of cultivation, came out with a regretful expression. He sighed and said, "The auction is about to begin. It seems that there is no time to continue cultivating. If I want to break through to the lesser star level, I can only try again next time." If someone else was here and heard Mo Qingyun's words, they would be so depressed that they would vomit blood. In just 3 days, his cultivation base rose from the late stage of star accumulation to the peak of star accumulation. With such a terrifying cultivation speed, Mo Qingyun was still not satisfied. This was too much of a blow to him. Mo Qingyun sighed. He stood up and left the five-directional pagoda in a flash. "Mr. Mo, the auction is about to begin. Let's go together." As soon as he came out of the five-directional pagoda, Mo Qingyun heard voices outside the house. It was Han Wenyu who came to look for him. "Okay, I'm coming." Hearing Han Wenyu's words, Mo Qingyun responded and immediately walked out of the house. Then, Mo Qingyun opened the door and saw Han Wenyu outside. "Let's go quickly. Grandma and the others are already waiting." Seeing Mo Qingyun come out of the house, Han Wenyu smiled sweetly and urged Mo Qingyun to quickly follow. Seeing this, Mo Qingyun immediately followed Han Wenyu to meet up with Dragon Snake and the others. From Mo Qingyun's point of view, participating in the auction with Dragon Snake and the others could save him a lot of trouble. At least during the auction, he could increase the price without worrying about the dissatisfaction of others. With Han Wenyu leading the way, Mo Qingyun soon saw Dragon Snake and the others who had been waiting for a long time. What surprised Mo Qingyun was that at this moment, the people beside Dragon Snake all had extremely terrifying auras. If he was not mistaken, these people's cultivation levels were all at the Golden Immortal stage. 8 Golden Immortals of the Golden Immortal stage. After knowing the cultivation levels of these 8 people, Mo Qingyun's heart trembled, and the way he looked at them changed. If Mo Qingyun's guess was correct, these 8 people should have extraordinary positions in the Violet Jade Wan Phoenix clan. Clan leader, elders, the Mo Qingyun I mentioned to you before is this little guy in front of you. When Dragon Snake saw Mo Qingyun approaching, she immediately smiled knowingly and introduced Mo Qingyun to everyone. When they heard Dragon Snake's introduction, the expressions of the middle-aged man and the other elders changed, and they looked at Mo Qingyun seriously. Not bad, not bad. Compared to the boys in our clan, you are indeed much more outstanding. The middle-aged man looked at Mo Qingyun and kept nodding his head, praising Mo Qingyun. When they heard the middle-aged man's words, the other elders behind him also nodded their heads in agreement. With their foresight and experience, they could naturally see how talented Mo Qingyun was in cultivation. Mr. Mo, this is my father, Han Wanqing. This is the second elder, Han Bingqi, and the third elder. When she saw that her father had arrived, Han Wenyu introduced each of them to Mo Qingyun. Junior Mo Qingyun pays his respects to the elders. When he heard Han Wenyu's introduction, Mo Qingyun showed a humble expression and bowed to everyone. He knew that these people's identities were not simple, but he did not expect them to be so honorable. When he saw Mo Qingyun's actions, Han Wanqing smiled and nodded. He held Mo Qingyun's arm and said, "No need for such formalities. If you don't mind, you can call me Uncle Han in the future." "Greetings, Uncle Han." Mo Qingyun nodded and immediately changed the way he addressed Han Wanqing. When he saw how straightforward Mo Qingyun was, Han Wanqing nodded approvingly. He liked Mo Qingyun's character very much. "All right, the auction is about to begin. Let's enter the auction hall." When he saw that everyone had gotten to know each other, Han Wanqing waved at them and took the lead to enter the auction hall. Then, Mo Qingyun and the others did not dare to hesitate. They followed Han Wanqing to the auction hall. Han Wanqing and the others were not ordinary people. They were considered the distinguished guests of the treasure house. Therefore, they all had their own VIP rooms in the Myriad Treasures auction house. Mo Qingyun followed Han Wanqing and the others here. This time, he benefited a lot and could enjoy the VIP treatment. The treasure house was very large. It took up tens of thousands of acres and was built in the shape of a circular arena. In the middle of the treasure house, there was a very large stage. This was the place where the items were auctioned. Around the high platform were rows of seats for the guests to sit down and bid for the items they wanted to bid on. Mo Qingyun made a rough estimate. The number of these seats was about 100,000. When he thought of 100,000 people bidding at the same time, Mo Qingyun could not help but feel his blood boil. The scene should be very grand. Of course, in the auction hall, what really attracted Mo Qingyun was the place where the auction hall was. It was the 100 pavilions suspended in midair. These pavilions were the so-called VIP rooms. P.S. It's finally time to write. I'm going to sleep. Good night, everyone. Chapter 1528. After a quick comparison, they realized that the pavilions weren't all the same. Each of the pavilions had different images carved into them, each representing a different divine race. The pavilions were also of different sizes. The stronger a divine race was, the larger their pavilion would be. Even though the Thousand Treasures clan was treating the various races differently, no one dared to say anything about it. Everyone knew that there was no such thing as absolute fairness in this world. If everything was fair, there wouldn't be any difference between the pavilions in the sky and the ordinary seats. Let's go to the pavilions, Han Wanqing said to everyone after looking at the pavilions in the sky. He then flew towards the pavilion of the violet jade Luan Phoenix. Seeing Han Wanqing's actions, Mo Qingyun and the others didn't hesitate and followed him to the loft. As Mo Qingyun and the others flew towards the pavilions, the other races in the top 100 were also flying towards their own pavilions. The 1,000 Illusions is ranked 72nd on the 10,000 Ancient Races leaderboard. They should have their own pavilions as well. Mo Qingyun followed behind Han Wanqing. Thinking back to what Han Wanqing had said, he couldn't help but look towards the pavilion of the 1,000 Illusions. Ever since he had heard Granny Dragon Snake's words, Mo Qingyun had become more attentive and curious about the 1,000 Illusions clan. Not long after, Mo Qingyun saw a group of people flying towards the pavilion of the 1,000 Illusions. The 1,000 Illusions had arrived. What surprised Mo Qingyun was that there were two familiar faces amongst the 1,000 Illusions. These two were Qian Xiao and Chen Hyunmyung, who had gone to the Tianhun continent. From the looks of it, their status in the 1,000 Illusions wasn't low. Otherwise, they wouldn't have been able to come to such a large auction. Qian Xiao and Chen Hyunmyung turned towards Mo Qingyun when they felt Mo Qingyun's gaze. It's him. When the two of them saw Mo Qingyun, they were immediately shocked. They couldn't believe what they were seeing. No, that shouldn't be possible. They just look alike. Qian Xiao found an excuse to explain what he was seeing. He didn't believe that this person was Mo Qingyun. It's only been a few years. There's no way he could have come to the Wild Continent, become a true immortal, and become acquainted with the violet jade Luan Phoenix, one of the top 10,000 ancient races. After thinking about it, Qian Xiao's mood improved a little. He felt that he had been worrying for nothing. Master, the young man from the violet jade Luan Phoenix clan, looks very similar to the kid from the affiliated continent. Just as Qian Xiao thought he had seen wrongly, Chen Hyunmyung was also puzzled. He couldn't believe that Mo Qingyun would come here. When he heard Chen Hyunmyung's words, Qian Xiao smiled and shook his head. The starry sky is boundless. There are countless living beings. It's not strange for there to be a few people who look alike. That's true. When Chen Hyunmyung heard Qian Xiao's words, he nodded his head in agreement. He was even more certain that he had seen wrongly. He thought to himself, my original body is at the peak of the golden celestial stage. With the help of a large amount of cultivation resources, I've only just broken through to the true immortal stage. That guy on the affiliated continent couldn't have grown so much without any external support. When he thought of this, Chen Hyunmyung immediately thought that he was overthinking things. After that, Chen Hyunmyung ignored Mo Qingyun and shifted his gaze away from Mo Qingyun. When he saw that Qian Xiao and Qian Xiao had shifted their gazes away, Mo Qingyun decided to look for them in the future. Since he knew that the two of them were in the 1,000 Illusions, it wouldn't be difficult for Mo Qingyun to find them. Mo Qingyun paused for a moment. He caught up with Han Wanqing and the others and entered the attic of the Purple Jade Luan Phoenix tribe. When Mo Qingyun entered the attic, he started to pay attention to the situation of the other tribes. It seemed like those tribes were all here. What surprised Mo Qingyun was that he didn't see any of the tribes ranked in the top 10. Uncle Han, why didn't any of the tribes ranked in the top 10 come to the auction? Mo Qingyun asked Han Wanqing with a puzzled expression. He didn't see any of the tribes ranked in the top 10. When he heard Mo Qingyun's puzzle question, Han Wanqing laughed and started to explain to Mo Qingyun, nephew, if you don't know, the tribes ranked in the top 10 are either in charge of a large desolate world or a powerful sect. They have countless ancient treasures. Why would they be interested in a small auction like this? So that's the case? Mo Qingyun frowned. He still didn't understand, but he didn't continue asking. He thought to himself, I didn't expect the tribes ranked in the top 10 to be so powerful. Luckily, I didn't go to the Heavenly Soul Demon tribe. At this moment, Mo Qingyun couldn't help but feel lucky that he didn't rush back to the Heavenly Soul Demon Tribe. From what Han Wanqing had said, the Heavenly Soul Demon Tribe wasn't as simple as he had thought. He had thought that the tribes ranked in the top 10 were just slightly stronger than the other tribes. Now, it seemed that he was completely wrong. This wasn't the case at all. It seemed that the strength of the tribes ranked in the top 10 couldn't be judged by normal standards. They had reached a whole new level. After Mo Qingyun and the others arrived at the pavilion, the auction officially began after the time it took for an incense stick to burn. A Daluo golden celestial elder walked up to the stage in the middle of the auction. He should be the auctioneer of the auction. Senior Yin Wei, he's the host of this auction. He hasn't shown up for almost 10,000 years. You don't know yet, right? The final item of this auction is a magic treasure used by the GS Divine Ancestor. A magic treasure used by the GS Divine Ancestor? Is this news reliable? Will such an item really be circulated? The Sky-Reaching Tribe, ranked 8th on the 10,000 ancient races, is the descendant of the Divine Ancestor. If the Divine Ancestor's treasure is up for sale, why didn't they come? What do you know? There are many types of the Divine Ancestor's treasures. Not all of them are extremely precious. When they saw the auctioneer on the stage, everyone whispered to each other, and their expressions became serious. From his words, one could roughly tell that this auction would not be simple. The Divine Ancestor of the GS sect, ranked 8th on the 10,000 ancient races list, the Sky-Reaching Tribe. When he heard the conversation around him, Mo Qingyun's expression changed. He looked curious. Chapter 1529. On the auction stage. This sword is called Edgeless, and it's a quasi-holy weapon. It was once used by the sword demon war martyrs. The auctioneer, Yin Wei, took out a dull, blunt sword and explained the origins of the sword in an unhurried manner. The starting price of this blunt sword is 1 million prominent celestial stones, and each increment must be at least 100,000 prominent celestial stones. One high-grade immortal stone is equivalent to 1,000 medium-grade immortal stones and 1 million low-grade immortal stones. If that's the case, the starting price of this blunt sword should be 1 trillion low-grade celestial stones. That's too expensive. It's not something we can bid for. Only those powerful clans can bid for it. If the first item is already so valuable, the following items must be even more valuable. No wonder Senior Yin Wei is hosting this auction. Seeing that the first auction item was already extraordinary, everyone's expression immediately became excited, and they looked forward to the following items even more. The Sword Demon War Martyrs? Compared to the other people who were surprised by the price of the sword, Mo Qingyun was more surprised by the owner of the sword. Qin Xiaoqiao had gone to the Tianhun continent for the painting of the War Martyrs. Mo Qingyun frowned. He was even more curious about the identity of the War Martyrs. Who is this War Martyrs? What's the relationship between him and Han Yan's original body? At this moment, Mo Qingyun felt that the originally simple matter seemed to have become more and more complicated. Mo Qingyun had thought that the person in the painting of the War Martyrs was an elder of Long Hanyans. Now it seemed that wasn't the case. It was very likely that the person in the painting was Long Hanyon's original body. 1,100,000 high-grade immortal stones. Yin Wei called out the price. The first bidder was from 1,000 illusions. Mo Qingyun's frown deepened when he saw the 1,000 illusions clan members' actions. He was even more curious about Zhang Lai's identity. It seemed that the relationship between the War Martyrs and Long Hanyon's original body was not ordinary. I must investigate the identity of the War Martyrs if I have the chance. Mo Qingyun was silent. He felt a great pressure as he pondered. Although he had made a decision, it wasn't easy to implement it. The Sword of the War Martyrs was a quasi-holy weapon. It was a treasure that surpassed the level of immortal weapons. Those who could wield such a weapon were at least perfected golden immortals. He was far from being their match. Of course, no matter how difficult it was, Mo Qingyun would not give up. Just like now, when he was being hunted down by Xin Shao, he still refused to give in. Mr. Mo, what are you thinking about? Han Wenyu winked at Mo Qingyun and took the initiative to talk to Mo Qingyun. Seeing Han Wenyu's action, Granny Dragon Snake smiled meaningfully and gave Han Wenyu an encouraging look. Her meaning couldn't be any more obvious. She was hinting at Han Wenyu. Girl, do your best. Take this brat down. Guessing Granny Dragon Snake's thoughts, Han Wenyu's pretty face immediately turned red, revealing a shy expression. She looked very cute. I'm thinking that since these auction items are so expensive, I can only look at them. Mo Qingyun didn't notice the change in Han Wenyu's expression. He didn't hide his inner thoughts. Huh. Han Wanqing and the others laughed when they heard Mo Qingyun's words. They admired Mo Qingyun even more. If it were an ordinary person, they would definitely not reveal their true thoughts after being asked by Han Wenyu in such a manner, for the sake of their reputation. Mo Qingyun, on the other hand, said whatever was on his mind. If he didn't have money, he didn't have money at all. Nephew Mo, if there's anything you like next, just tell me. I'll get it for you. Han Wanqing laughed heartily. He patted his chest and promised Mo Qingyun. Mo Qingyun was overjoyed when he saw Han Wanqing's action. He said gratefully, if that's the case, I'll thank you, Uncle Han. However, I'll borrow these immortal stones from you first. I'll slowly return them to you in the future. Mo Qingyun was worried that the map of the 9 immortal mountain range was too expensive. What if he didn't have enough immortal stones? He didn't expect that in the blink of an eye, Han Wanqing would promise to give him an auction item. Was this someone giving him a pillow when he was sleepy? Even though he heard Han Wanqing's good intentions, Mo Qingyun wasn't going to take it for free. Borrow it from me? Han Wanqing and the others were stunned. They were surprised by Mo Qingyun's idea. Then, Han Wanqing and the others looked at Mo Qingyun with even more admiration. From this, they could tell that Mo Qingyun was a man of principles. He wasn't a greedy person. Since you want to do this, then we'll do as you say. Han Wanqing nodded and agreed to Mo Qingyun's suggestion. In his opinion, he helped Mo Qingyun bid for the item because he wanted to get closer to Mo Qingyun. Now that Mo Qingyun had accepted his help, it could be said that he had achieved his goal. More importantly, Mo Qingyun owed him immortal stones. They would definitely interact more in the future. This way, the effect he had achieved now seemed to be better than he had expected. While Mo Qingyun and the others were talking, the first auction item, the blunt sword, was bought by 1,000 illusions for 30 million immortal stones. 1,000 illusions won it. Seeing this result, Mo Qingyun's expression darkened. The uneasiness in his heart grew. 1,000 illusions had paid a huge price to buy the sword of the War Martyrs. This proved that they had a close relationship with the War Martyrs. This result wasn't what Mo Qingyun wanted to see. After the blunt sword was sold, Yanwei took out a few more items. They were a cultivation technique scroll, a desolate ancient armor, and a broken broadsword. These items weren't what Mo Qingyun wanted, so he hadn't made a move yet. After the broken broadsword was sold, Yanwei took out a map scroll. He smiled and said to the crowd, "Everyone, this is the map of the 9 immortal mountain range. With this map, you can easily travel around the 9 immortal mountain range. I heard that the Fox tribe in the 9 immortal mountain range is as beautiful as flowers. Don't you want to go there? You're so disrespectful." Han Wenyu's beautiful face immediately flushed red when she heard Yanwei's words, and she revealed a trace of displeasure. What Han Wenyu didn't expect was that Mo Qingyun said to Han Wanqing, "Uncle Han, I want to buy the map of the 9 immortal mountain range. If I don't have enough immortal stones, I hope you can lend me some." "You want to buy the map?" Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Han Wanqing was stunned. He was surprised by Mo Qingyun's choice. Chapter 1530. Nephew, in fact, other than the Fox clan, other clans also have beauties. For example, my girl Wenyu is not bad. After guessing Mo Qingyun's thoughts, Han Wanqing glanced at Han Wenyu and earnestly advised Mo Qingyun. After listening to the dragon snake's explanation, Han Wanqing knew Mo Qingyun's cultivation talent and potential like the back of his hand. Under the dragon snake's encouragement, he also had a heart of love for Mo Qingyun and planned to matchmake Mo Qingyun and Han Wenyu. Otherwise, no matter how much Han Wanqing valued Mo Qingyun, he wouldn't take the initiative to give Mo Qingyun something. Naturally, Mo Qingyun didn't know what Han Wanqing was thinking. After hearing Han Wanqing's words, he was speechless. What the hell was this and that? However, what made Mo Qingyun even more speechless was that just as Han Wanqing finished speaking, Han Wenyu's beautiful eyes widened, and she angrily said, "So you're like this, Mo Qingyun. I misjudged you. So you're like this, Mo Qingyun?" Hearing Han Wenyu's words, Mo Qingyun was dumbfounded. Was he like this, Mo Qingyun? Seeing that Han Wenyu was angry, Mo Qingyun naturally didn't dare to anger her and continued to explain his thoughts to Han Wanqing. At the same time, Mo Qingyun also roughly pointed out that his purpose for going to the Nine Immortal Mountain Range was mainly to help Xie. After knowing Mo Qingyun's true purpose, Han Wanqing and the others suddenly understood that they had misjudged Mo Qingyun. After understanding Mo Qingyun's thoughts, Han Wenyu's beautiful face turned slightly red. She revealed an awkward smile and said, "So you're like this, Mo Qingyun. I misjudged you just now and didn't listen to your explanation. So you're like this, Mo Qingyun." Mo Qingyun's expression froze once more. What exactly did this mean? What kind of Mo Qingyun was he? Everyone, the starting bid for the 9 Immortal Mountain Ranges map is 100,000 high-grade celestial stones. Each bid must be at least 10,000 high-grade celestial stones. While Mo Qingyun and the others were talking, Yinwei briefly explained the auction rules of the 9 Immortal Mountain Range map. I bid 110,000 high-grade celestial stones. As soon as Yinwei finished speaking, someone immediately made a bid, wanting to bid for the 9 Immortal Mountain Range map. Although the map isn't very rare, it's still very valuable. Moreover, it's the map of the entire mountain range. You only bid 110,000 high-grade celestial stones? Upon hearing the former's bid, one of them mocked in a disdainful tone before announcing his own bid. I bid 200,000 immortal stones. 200,000 high-grade celestial stones added by 90,000 high-grade celestial stones. Looking at this person's attitude, it seemed like he was determined to get the map of the 9 Immortal Mountain Range. Seeing this, Han Wanqing and the others looked at Mo Qingyun, wanting to see what Mo Qingyun was going to do. Judging from the current situation, it wouldn't be easy for him to get the map from the other party. I bid 210,000 high-grade celestial stones. Under the gaze of Han Wanqing and the others, Mo Qingyun made his bid. Seeing Mo Qingyun's bid, Han Wanqing and the others immediately knew that Mo Qingyun was also determined to get the map of the 9 Immortal Mountain Range. Brat, you're too greedy. You have Miss Wenyu by your side, but you're still thinking about those vixens. Hearing Mo Qingyun's bid, Soin immediately recognized Mo Qingyun's voice. He mocked Mo Qingyun and said, "Miss Wenyu, don't worry. In order to help you keep this brat's heart, I won't let him get the map." Hearing Soin's words, the auction house went into an uproar. Everyone was shocked. Judging from this person's words, could that brat be Han Wanqing's son-in-law? This young lord of the heaven-devouring wolf tribe seems to be infatuated with Han Wenyu. He would rather sacrifice himself than make Han Wenyu sad. Soin, young lord is really a good man. We'll support you. Don't let that scum get away with it. Miss Wenyu, young Lord Soin is infatuated with you. Why don't you just go with him? That's right. It's not worth it for you to do this for a greedy scum. Everyone's words were getting more and more ridiculous. Gradually, Mo Qingyun's impression in everyone's hearts became that he was a heinous person. Hearing everyone's words, Han Wenyu immediately blushed. She was so embarrassed that she lowered her head. Seeing Han Wenyu's actions, Han Wanqing and Soin smiled meaningfully. They didn't add fuel to the fire. At this moment, they were all thinking that the people outside were too awesome. This wave of support was really ruthless. Compared to other people's moods, Mo Qingyun's current mood could be said to be extremely depressed. Who had he offended? How had he become such a person? I bid 25 immortal stones. Seeing that he had received everyone's support, Soin smiled proudly and announced his bid. When he heard Soin's bid, the person who had made the first bid said in a playful tone, "Since the two of you are rivals in love and want to use this opportunity to compete, I won't get involved." Hearing the former's words, the people who had originally wanted to compete for the item all backed off. Although the map of the 9 Immortal Mountain Range was good, it was useless if one didn't go to the 9 Immortal Mountain Range. Based on the current situation, if anyone dared to get involved, they would definitely cause everyone to be unhappy. When they thought of this, everyone naturally didn't want to get involved. They calmly stood aside and watched the show. Soin? Mo Qingyun wasn't unfamiliar with Soin's voice, so he immediately recognized him. When he saw that Soin was deliberately going against him, Mo Qingyun frowned slightly and hesitated whether he should continue bidding. Mo Qingyun was very clear that if he continued to bid, Zhong Yin would definitely continue to raise the price until he became a sucker for a fool. More importantly, Mo Qingyun was thinking that if Soin obtained the map, he could kill him and steal it. As long as he killed Soin, the map would still fall into his hands. "Nephew, just bid as much as you want. Uncle will fully support you." When he saw Mo Qingyun's hesitation, Han Wanqing thought that Mo Qingyun didn't have enough immortal stones. This time, he spoke up to give Mo Qingyun some confidence. When he heard Han Wanqing's words, Mo Qingyun's frown deepened. He was considering whether to continue bidding or not. Mo Qingyun pondered for a moment. Then, a smile appeared on his face. He had a clear idea. "I bid 500,000 immortal stones." Since this Soin wanted to trick him, why didn't he do the opposite and ruthlessly trick Soin? Of course, 500,000 immortal stones was within Mo Qingyun's acceptable range. Although 500,000 immortal stones was a little too much, he didn't lose too much since he had won the bid. If Soin continued bidding, he would give up the map of the 9 Immortal Mountain Range. Then, he would think of a way to kill Soin and steal the map. When they heard Mo Qingyun's bid, Han Wanqing and the rest were stunned. They looked at Mo Qingyun in shock. They didn't expect Mo Qingyun to be so domineering and aggressive when he raised the price. Chapter 1531. 500,000 Immortal Stones. This was double Soin's bid. This method of increasing the price was too ruthless. Seeing Mo Qingyun's bid, everyone was filled with anticipation. They wanted to see how Soin would react. What surprised everyone was that after waiting for a long time, Soin didn't say anything. There was no other way. 500,000 immortal stones had already exceeded the actual value of the geographical map. If Zhong Yin continued to increase the price, it would be equivalent to him being a sucker. That was what Soin thought. However, the others didn't think so. They just wanted to watch the show. "Young Master Soin, you mustn't back down. Continue to compete with that kid." "That's right. Continue to compete. That kid is too arrogant. We all don't like him." "Young Master Soin, didn't you just say that you wouldn't let that kid get the geographical map? Why are you backing down in the blink of an eye?" "Sigh, don't force young Master Soin. His feelings for young Miss Wen Yu are only worth 250,000 immortal stones." Seeing Soin remain silent for a long time, the people around him were disappointed. They started to jeer one after another. However, towards the end of the jeering, their words were all filled with mockery. Hearing everyone's mockery, Soin's expression became uglier and uglier. If he didn't continue to bid, he would really lose face. "I bid 510,000 immortal stones." Soin gritted his teeth. In the end, he increased the price by 10,000 immortal stones. He wanted to use this to regain his face. Seeing Soin continue to bid, everyone immediately changed the topic and started to flatter him. "So the young lord of the heaven-devouring wolf clan, one of the top 110,000 ancient races, is actually so poor. It seems like the heaven-devouring wolf clan is nothing much." Without waiting for Soin to feel proud, Mo Qingyun's words came out of his mouth. He mocked and ridiculed Soin. "Young lord, if you're really that poor, then don't make a fool of yourself. There's no point in increasing the price by 10,000. I feel ashamed for your heaven-devouring wolf clan. Brat, shut up right now. If you have the guts, then add more. Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Soin's face darkened, and he roared angrily at Mo Qingyun. What Mo Qingyun said now was no longer about himself, but about the reputation of the heaven-devouring wolf tribe. This was related to the face of the heaven-devouring wolf clan, so he couldn't tolerate it no matter what. Otherwise, it would bring shame to the heaven-devouring wolf clan and cause the heaven-devouring wolf clan to be mocked by the other clans. Fine, I'll add 1,000,000 prominent celestial stones. Mo Qingyun replied generously. Then he said loudly, Soin, young lord, it's your turn now. 1,000,000 celestial stones. Even Han Wanqing's expression changed when he heard Mo Qingyun's words. He was stunned by Mo Qingyun's generosity. Mo Qingyun's performance was just too domineering. This brat has an extraordinary bearing. He's someone who can achieve great things. Han Wanqing nodded in satisfaction when he saw Mo Qingyun's performance. The more he looked at Mo Qingyun, the more satisfied he was with him. 1,000,000 prominent celestial stones just to buy a map? Is there something wrong with your head? Hearing Mo Qingyun's price, Zhongyin was so angry that his little brother was crooked. His face instantly turned extremely dark. He couldn't help but admit that Mo Qingyun's move was too ruthless. He was now in a difficult position. Mo Qingyun had already said that if he didn't increase the price, it would prove that the heaven-devouring wolf clan was poor. It would be embarrassing for a clan ranked in the top 100 of the 10,000 Archean tribes to not be able to take out 1,000,000 prominent celestial stones. Most importantly, even if he continued to increase the price, he couldn't do it one by one. Otherwise, people would misunderstand that the heaven-devouring wolf clan was a poor clan. 1,100,000 prominent celestial stones. After an intense struggle, Soin gritted his teeth and made a bid. Everyone's eyes widened when they heard Soin's bid. They waited expectantly for Mo Qingyun's reply. This time, what kind of price would Mo Qingyun offer? Only 100,000 celestial stones? It seems like the heaven-devouring wolf clan is really poor. Mo Qingyun revealed a disappointed expression as the crowd waited expectantly. He mocked Zhongyin for a while before saying, Seeing how difficult it is for you, I'll let you have the map since you used up all the resources of the heaven-devouring wolf clan. Mo Qingyun knew that 1,100,000 prominent celestial stones was Soin's limit. If he continued to increase the price, Soin would really give up. Therefore, Mo Qingyun's best choice was to back out now. Let you have the map? Everyone's eyes widened when they heard Mo Qingyun's words. They couldn't believe their ears. Did I hear wrongly? That young master gave up? Wasn't he very domineering earlier? Was he pretending earlier? I don't think so. I think he really took pity on Soin and decided to let him have the map. That's most likely the case. Actually, that young master is quite kind. I don't think he's a bad person. Young Master Soin, that young master was moved by you and decided to give up on the map. You fulfilled your promise to Wenyu. Young Master Soin, although you can't get Miss Wenyu, since that young master took pity on you and let you have the map, you've gained something. For a time, words of comfort and sympathy came from everyone's mouths. Soin immediately felt like his heart was being stabbed again and again when he heard everyone's words. What do they mean by Mo Qingyun let him have a map? He was the one who won it with 1,000,000 prominent celestial stones. Also, what do they mean by Mo Qingyun took pity on him? It was clearly Mo Qingyun who was cheating him. What kind of logic was this? Who was he supposed to find a reason with now? Mo Qingyun, you better explain yourself. What do you mean by you let me have the map? Soin was so angry that he started to lose his rationality. He immediately yelled at Mo Qingyun. Mo Qingyun smiled calmly when he heard Soin's angry words. He replied, Soin, your heaven-devouring wolf tribe is poor. I can understand your feelings. Because you're too poor to find a partner, you're planning to bid for the map of the 9 Immortals mountain range and go there to buy a partner. This is human nature. You don't have to feel embarrassed. Everyone can understand you. Everyone was enlightened when they heard Mo Qingyun's words. They agreed with Mo Qingyun's analysis. I see. No wonder young Master Soin was in such a hurry to bid for the map. Young Master Soin, we can understand. If you don't have the money, go buy a partner. I didn't expect the heaven-devouring wolf tribe, one of the top 100 on the 10,000 Archean tribe board, to be so poor. Everyone's misunderstanding of Zhong Yin was getting deeper and deeper. Soin spat out a mouthful of blood when he saw the situation in front of him. Even breathing became difficult for him. Was he unable to explain himself? Why did it feel like he was making things worse? P.S. This chapter was edited by Lan Xiang. Chapter 1532. I really can't see through this little fellow's actions. Seeing Mo Qingyun's actions, Han Wanqing and the others all smiled bitterly. Their moods were like overturned bottles of mixed emotions. Just a moment ago, Mo Qingyun had been so determined to get the map of the 9 Immortal Mountain Range. In the blink of an eye, he had given up the map of the 9 Immortal Mountain Range without any hesitation. This kind of 360-degree turn really made people feel unprepared. Han Wanqing could imagine how frustrated and angry Soin must be right now. In the contest for the geographical map this time, he could be considered to have been toyed around with by Mo Qingyun. Although 1 million prominent celestial stones was not a huge sum to him, it was still a huge sum of money. However, after what had just happened, the reputation of the heaven-devouring wolf tribe would be affected. Mr. Mo, didn't you say that you were going to the 9 Immortal Mountain Range? Why did you give up the map? Han Wenyu was a little more naive. She asked in confusion when she saw Mo Qingyun's actions. She could not understand Mo Qingyun's actions. Mo Qingyun smiled faintly when he heard Han Wenyu's puzzled question. He explained, although I really need the map, the current price of the map has far exceeded its true value. It's no longer suitable for me to bid for it. Mo Qingyun paused for a moment, then continued, moreover, the map of the 9 Immortal Mountain Range isn't the only one. Although I can't get it at the auction, I can slowly buy it later. Han Wanqing nodded in agreement when they heard Mo Qingyun's words. They agreed with Mo Qingyun's actions. They admired Mo Qingyun even more after hearing his words. It was obvious that Mo Qingyun was very mature. He was very thorough in his considerations. In comparison, Soin was much worse. Mo Qingyun only said a few words, and he was successfully enraged, falling into a situation where he made one wrong step after another. Han Wanqing pondered for a moment. Then his eyes lit up. With a scheming look on his face, he said, it's useless for Soin to buy the geographical map. He will definitely try to sell it. Perhaps I can find someone to negotiate with him and see if I can buy the geographical map at a low price. Hearing Han Wanqing's idea, Mo Qingyun couldn't help but be moved. He couldn't help but sigh. The older the ginger, the spicier it is. However, although Han Wanqing's method was very good, Mo Qingyun did not want to use it. Mo Qingyun had a better idea, which was to kill Soin. Seeing that Mo Qingyun didn't say anything, Han Wanqing didn't mention it again. He planned to buy the map first. After all, before he bought the geographical map, it was pointless to mention it in advance. After the map was auctioned off, another item was brought up for auction. It was a long whip with spikes. It emitted a cold aura, and it seemed to be a quasi-sane artifact. Yin Wei took out the item, gave a brief introduction of its origin, and then announced the bidding price. The whip's price wasn't low either. The starting price was 1 million upper-grade celestial stones, and each increment must be at least 100,000 upper-grade celestial stones. Although the price was high, there were also many people who were determined to get it. In the end, the whip was sold to a relatively strong clan for 13 million gold coins. After the whip was sold, another item was brought up, and it caused another round of intense competition. Following that, the auction proceeded in an orderly manner. During this time, Han Wanqing made a few bids and won a few good weapons. Since these items were useless to Mo Qingyun, he didn't bid. Of course, the most important thing was that Mo Qingyun didn't have enough celestial stones, so he didn't have the capital to bid for them. As time passed, One item after another was auctioned off. About 4 hours later, this auction item is a little strange. We don't know what it is. It should be a fragment of some treasure. A strange stone fragment appeared in Yanwei's hand. It emitted an ancient aura, as if it had been through a long time. This stone is terrifyingly hard. Even a quasi-saint artifact can't damage it. We suspect that it's a fragment of a saint artifact. This is Mo Qingyun's expression changed when he saw the stone in Yin Yun's hand. He recognized the stone. This stone was the fragment of the Light Gate martial spirit. He didn't expect it to appear here. While Mo Qingyun was still in shock, the Light Gate martial spirit reacted and trembled in Mo Qingyun's sea of consciousness. Noticing the movement of the Light Gate martial spirit, Mo Qingyun immediately suppressed it, afraid that it would run out on its own. If the Light Gate martial spirit ran out, his secret would be exposed. There were quite a number of golden immortals in this auction house. If they found out Mo Qingyun's secret, one could imagine what would happen to Mo Qingyun. Even if Han Wanqing wanted to protect Mo Qingyun, he would be powerless. He might even hit Mo Qingyun when he was down. Fortunately, under Mo Qingyun's suppression, the Light Gate martial spirit gradually calmed down. Seeing the Light Gate martial spirit calm down, Mo Qingyun's expression relaxed. His back was unconsciously drenched in cold sweat. No matter how expensive this stone is, I'll get it. Looking at the stone in Yanwei's hand, Mo Qingyun's expression became solemn. He immediately made up his mind. Since it was related to the integrity of the Light Gate martial spirit, Mo Qingyun couldn't back down. He could only bite the bullet and charge forward. Thinking of this, Mo Qingyun looked at Han Wanqing and said in a deep voice, "Uncle Han, I'm very interested in this stone. I hope you can lend me some immortal stones later. You want to buy it?" Hearing Mo Qingyun's request, Han Wanqing was surprised. He found that he couldn't see through Mo Qingyun. In his opinion, although this stone had a long history, there was nothing special about it. After his observation, he found a problem. Mo Qingyun didn't seem to be interested in magic treasures. He liked some strange things. For example, the map and this stone. Both of them were auxiliary items that couldn't really increase one's combat strength. Nephew Mo, it's good for young people to be curious. However, you should focus on improving your cultivation. Han Wanqing advised earnestly. He was worried that Mo Qingyun would be too curious and divert his attention from cultivation. Mo Qingyun naturally understood that Han Wanqing meant well. He nodded gratefully and said, "Thank you for your kindness, Uncle Han. I won't put the cart before the horse." Okay. Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Han Wanqing's expression relaxed slightly. He didn't continue to persuade Mo Qingyun. Because this stone might be a fragment of a saint artifact, the starting price is also 1 million upper-grade immortal stones. Each bid must be at least 100,000 upper-grade immortal stones. Chapter 1533. Isn't this too much? How dare he sell a stone of unknown origin for 1 million upper-grade celestial stones? So what if it's hard? Do we have to use it as a shield when we're fighting someone? It's a good idea to make armor out of such a hard stone, but is there anyone who can refine it? I don't care if you're interested or not. I'm not interested at all. Everyone expressed their dissatisfaction when they heard Yanwei's bid. They shared the same thoughts as Han Wanqing. They all agreed that the stone was not worth 1 million upper-grade celestial stones. Yanwei smiled awkwardly when he saw everyone's reaction. He quickly comforted the dissatisfied crowd and said, "Everyone, please think about it carefully. Isn't it worth it to spend 1 million upper-grade celestial stones to get a clue about the saint weapon?" Yanwei really did not expect that the mysterious stone that he thought highly of would actually be unanimously rejected by everyone. "You said it's a fragment of a saint weapon. So, it's a fragment of a saint weapon? Why can't I feel the power of a saint weapon?" As soon as Yanwei's words fell, someone immediately refuted him. They didn't believe what he said at all. "Do you think you can fool us with just a few words? Do you think we're all fools?" As soon as the former's words fell, There were immediately people who agreed and voiced their dissatisfaction. Yin Wei's expression became even more awkward when he saw that his words did not work. He could not help but break out in cold sweat. Based on the current situation, it seemed like the situation was getting out of control. Nephew Mo, as you can see, everyone doesn't think highly of this item. It's better if you don't bid for it. Han Wanqing tried to persuade Mo Qingyun again when he saw the reaction of the crowd. He hoped that Mo Qingyun would not bid for the mysterious stone. However, Mo Qingyun did not intend to accept his advice. Mo Qingyun's thoughts were the exact opposite of Han Wanqing and the others. To Mo Qingyun, it was best that everyone stopped bidding. It would be easier for him to get the mysterious stone. Thank you for your kind intentions, Uncle Han. I am determined to obtain this mysterious stone. Mo Qingyun revealed a meaningful smile as he tactfully refused Han Wanqing's good intentions, and he said in a clear voice, I bid 1,000,000 immortal stones. Someone made a bid? Mo Qingyun's words shocked everyone. They didn't expect that someone would be willing to buy the mysterious stone. Someone actually made a bid? Could it be that this person has a way to refine it? Only a divine ancestor can refine a saint artifact. Do you think he could get a divine ancestor to refine a saint artifact? That's true. Meeting a sacred ancestor in the wild continent is probably harder than ascending to the heavens. In my opinion, this kid probably has too much money and wants to spend it to buy a collectible. That's probably the case. It's hard to understand the world of the rich. Seeing Mo Qingyun make a bid, everyone started to guess what Mo Qingyun's purpose for buying the stone was. They didn't think that Mo Qingyun knew the origin of the mysterious stone, nor did he know its use. That kid is going to bid for it? Hearing Mo Qingyun's voice, Soin was immediately shocked. His face instantly darkened as he said angrily, Kid, you dare to trick me just now. It's my turn now. 2,000,000 immortal stones. Soin sneered. He copied Mo Qingyun's method and raised the price by 900,000 immortal stones. Soin's bid immediately attracted everyone's attention. They couldn't help but recall the scene just now. There's going to be a good show. Soin and that kid are going to fight again. Enemies are bound to meet on a narrow road. I wonder who will win this time. In my opinion, Soin doesn't have a high chance of winning. He probably just wants to take revenge on Soin. If Soin is tricked again, do you think he won't have enough immortal stones to pay? Seeing Soin and Mo Qingyun's bids, the crowd immediately whispered to each other. They were looking forward to what was going to happen next. As far as they were concerned, Mo Qingyun wouldn't give up on the item this time. 2,000,000 immortal stones? Hearing Soin's words, Mo Qingyun was slightly stunned. He was a little surprised by Soin's actions. However, after a short moment of surprise, Mo Qingyun guessed Soin's thoughts. He smiled faintly and said, It seems like Soin wants to take revenge after being tricked by me just now. If that's the case, I'll play with him. I hope he won't disappoint me. Soin, you can barely afford 1,000,000 immortal stones. Now that you've bid 2,000,000, you're not going to go back on your word, are you? Mo Qingyun mocked Soin. Brat, it's my business whether or not I can pay the immortal stones. If you have the ability, then go ahead and bid. After being mocked by Mo Qingyun, Soin immediately became furious. He angrily scolded Mo Qingyun. Seeing Soin's reaction, Mo Qingyun's smile deepened. He calmly said, Young Lord Soin, I know what you're thinking right now. You're just feeling heartache because you spent 1,000,000 immortal stones to buy the map of the 9 immortal mountain range. Now you're purposely raising the price so that I can pay more immortal stones. No, don't speak nonsense. That's not what I'm thinking. Seeing that Mo Qingyun had exposed his little scheme, Soin immediately defended himself with a guilty conscience. However, anyone with a discerning eye could see that Soin's tone was clearly guilty. It's normal for you to have such thoughts. You don't have to deny it. Everyone wants to take revenge after suffering a loss. That's human nature. Mo Qingyun ignored Zhong Yin's explanation and stated in an indifferent tone. Then he said unhurriedly, Since you want more immortal stones, I'll satisfy your wish now. I'll bid 10,000,000 high-grade immortal stones. If you think I'm not enough, You can continue to raise the price, and I'll raise it again. 10 million high-grade immortal stones. When Mo Qing Yun said this number, everyone's eyes widened. They couldn't believe what they were hearing. This was too crazy. Big brother, even if you have a lot of money, you can't waste it like this. He's too rich. If I'm not wrong, Soin is going to be scared soon. Soin, young lord, if you're a man, then don't be scared. Fight with him. Soin, young lord, forget it. It's okay to be poor. Don't puff yourself up at your own cost. At this moment, everyone wanted to see the world in chaos. They kept teasing Soin. You. When Soin heard what everyone said, he was so angry that he couldn't speak. His mood instantly worsened. He couldn't help but admit that Mo Qing Yun's move was too ruthless. He had directly cut off his escape route. If he continued to raise the price, he might vomit blood. If he didn't raise the price, he would become a clown again. He would be slapped in the face by Mo Qing Yun in front of everyone. You win. After struggling for a while, Soin finally decided to give up. 10 million high-grade immortal stones was too much. It wasn't something he could afford. Chapter 1534. 10 million immortal stones. Yin Wei collected his thoughts after Soin gave up. He quickly said, as if he was afraid that Mo Qing Yun would go back on his word. Congratulations to the young master for winning the auction item, the mysterious stone, at the price of 10 million immortal stones. As soon as Yin Wei finished speaking, he immediately ordered someone to deliver the mysterious stone to Mo Qing Yun. Everyone wore a disdainful expression when they saw Yin Wei's action. They were mocking Yin Wei. This old man was too evil. He was in such a hurry to give the mysterious stone to Mo Qing Yun. It was obvious that he was worried that Mo Qing Yun would regret his decision. A while later, the mysterious stone was delivered to the pavilion of the Violet Jade Wan Phoenix tribe by a maidservant. Han Wanqing wore a pained expression when he saw the mysterious stone. He said to Mo Qing Yun with disappointment, "Nephew Mo, you're being too wasteful. 10 million immortal stones are enough to buy a quasi-sacred weapon, but you've bought a useless stone." Even someone like Han Wanqing felt pained when he saw Mo Qing Yun spending 10 million immortal stones on a useless stone. In his opinion, Mo Qing Yun's current actions could be called wasteful in a nice way. But to put it bluntly, he was squandering. Mo Qing Yun was well aware of Han Wanqing's thoughts. However, the mysterious stone was related to the secret of the Light Gate martial spirit. It was impossible for him to explain it to Han Wanqing. "Uncle Han, thank you for your concern. I'll remember your words." Mo Qing Yun nodded humbly at Han Wanqing's kindness. He said with a smile, "Uncle Han, I don't have enough immortal stones with me. Please pay for me for now. I'll return the immortal stones I owe you in the future." Hearing Mo Qing Yun's words, Han Wanqing and the others were dumbfounded, unable to express their feelings with words. After all this time, they still needed them to dig out immortal stones. Mo Qing Yun was too much a scammer. No wonder he did not care about Mo Qing Yun's bid. He did not need to pay for it himself. Although he was speechless at Mo Qing Yun's actions, Han Wanqing still took out immortal stones and temporarily paid for Mo Qing Yun. No matter what, he had just made a promise to Mo Qing Yun. He couldn't go back on his word now. "Thank you, Uncle Han." Seeing that Han Wanqing had paid the immortal stones for him, Mo Qing Yun nodded gratefully and kept the mysterious stone into the 5-directional pagoda. After keeping the mysterious stone, Mo Qing Yun exchanged a few more words with Han Wanqing and the others. Then, he turned his gaze to the auction stage below. Looking at Mo Qing Yun's calm expression, Han Wanqing suddenly felt that he could not see through Mo Qing Yun anymore. He realized that no matter what, the young man in front of him would not change his expression even if a mountain collapsed. He gave off a feeling of calmness. "It seems that I've underestimated him. His state of mind is stronger than mine." Han Wanqing sighed in his heart and decided to reevaluate Mo Qing Yun in his heart. After thinking about it this way, Han Wanqing felt relieved and turned his attention to the auction stage. In the following auction, Mo Qing Yun did not make any more moves. He just watched silently. Seeing Mo Qingyun's performance, Han Wanqing looked at Mo Qingyun with admiration and nodded continuously. He thought to himself, from this little guy's calmness, he shouldn't have bought that mysterious stone on impulse. He most likely has his own ideas. After the previous item was auctioned off, Yin Wei took out a simple crown. Ladies and gentlemen, the next item will be the finale of this auction, the 8-treasure purple soul crown. Yin Wei held the crown in his hand and briefly introduced it to the crowd. Then, with a solemn expression, he said, "Rumor has it that the 8-treasure purple soul crown was refined by the Tongtian divine ancestor and given to his disciple, the Fire Phoenix Holy Maiden. With the help of the 8-treasure purple soul crown, the Fire Phoenix Holy Maiden's cultivation rose to the Tai Xian immortal realm in just 30,000 years." Yin Wei held the 8-treasure purple soul crown in his hand and slowly explained its origin. Everyone's eyes lit up as they listened. This was especially so for the ancestors of some powerful clans. Their cultivation had been stuck at the Daluo Golden Immortal Realm for many years. If they could not improve further, they might have to leave this world regretfully because their lifespan was nearing its end. Who would have thought that such a treasure would appear in this auction? How could they remain calm? If nothing unexpected happens, the following auction will be a fierce battle between giants. Looking at the 8-treasure purple soul crown in Yin Wei's hand, Han Wanqing could not help but sigh with emotion. If he could obtain this treasure, his chances of breaking through to the Tai Xian immortal realm would increase by at least 40 to 50%. Unfortunately, with the wealth of the Purple Jade Wan Phoenix clan, it was impossible for them to obtain this item from others. Yin Wei, let's cut the crap. Just announce the price of this item. That's right. We know more about the rumors of this treasure than you do. Do you think those who don't know about this item will have the financial resources to bid for it? That's right. What's the use of telling those who don't have the financial resources to bid for it? Seeing that Yin Wei did not announce the price, some of the ancestors of the powerful clans urged him with dissatisfaction. Upon hearing these people's words, everyone's expression changed slightly. Some dissatisfaction appeared on their faces. However, due to the strength of these people, no one dared to express their dissatisfaction. They suppressed their displeasure. There was no helping it. Reality was cruel. If one was not strong enough, one could only endure the injustice. In that case, I won't waste any more time. Upon hearing the words of the ancestors, Yin Wei immediately smiled embarrassedly and did not continue to delay. He said, "The starting price of this 8-treasure purple soul crown is 100 million high-grade celestial stones. Each increment must be no less than 1 million high-grade celestial stones." 100 million high-grade celestial stones was only the starting price? Everyone's expressions changed drastically when they heard Yin Wei's price. Their hearts trembled. This price was too frightening. 100 million high-grade celestial stones is only the starting price. When Mo Qingyun heard this number, he was shocked to the point his heart trembled. He sighed emotionally and said, "It looks like I'm still too poor. Compared to these powerful clans, my foundation is still too weak. Worthy nephew Mo, these clans have accumulated their wealth for tens of thousands of years. You don't have to worry about it." Han Wanqing guessed Mo Qingyun's thoughts when he saw the change in his expression. He immediately comforted Mo Qingyun. Hearing Han Wanqing's explanation, Mo Qingyun smiled faintly and nodded. "Many thanks for Uncle Han's explanation. I know what to do." Mo Qingyun and Han Wanqing chatted as they watched the other clans compete for the item. Chapter 1535. After the time it took to brew a cup of tea. After a frenzied bidding war, the 8-treasure purple soul crown was sold to the Fire Spirit Heavenly Ape tribe, which was ranked 12th on the 10,000 Ancient Tribes board, for a price of more than 900 million immortal stones. Seeing such a price, Mo Qingyun couldn't help but smack his lips. These ancient tribes were too wealthy. This was only for tribes that weren't ranked in the top 10. If they were ranked in the top 10, their wealth would be even more terrifying. After the 8-treasure purple soul crown was auctioned off, the auction came to an end. Let's go. Seeing that the auction had ended, Han Wanqing didn't stay any longer. He got up and flew out of the auction house. Seeing Han Wanqing fly out of the loft, Mo Qingyun and the others followed suit and left the auction house with Han Wanqing. After coming out of the loft, Mo Qingyun saw Soin and the others glaring at him angrily. Glancing at the angry Soin and the others, Mo Qingyun ignored them and continued to leave the auction house. Seeing Mo Qingyun's actions, Soin felt that he was being looked down upon, and the anger in his heart grew even stronger. Kid, don't be too proud. Once you're separated from Miss Wen Yu and the others, I'll deal with you slowly. Looking at Mo Qingyun in front of him, Soin's face was as black as ink. He clenched his fists tightly and emitted a strong, killing intent. This kid seems to hate him a lot. Maybe I can make use of him. Chun Hyun-myung walked past Soin and noticed Soin's hatred for Mo Qingyun. He immediately came up with a plan and came to Soin's side with a smirk. Young master, if you have a grudge with the young man in front of you, maybe we can work together. Chun Hyun-myung felt that the Mo Qingyun beside Han Wanqing was not the Mo Qingyun he knew. However, when he saw that the two of them looked the same, he was still very unhappy. If he could use Soin to get rid of Mo Qingyun, he would be very happy. What does this have to do with you? Hearing Chun Hyun-myung's question, Soin instinctively became hostile and kept a distance from Chun Hyun. Chun Hyun-myung was not bothered by Soin's actions. Hyun-myung smiled and said, "To be honest, I have a grudge with him. As the saying goes, the enemy's enemies is a friend." Come, of his. There are too many people here. Let's find a quiet place to talk. Chun Hyun-myung glanced at the people around them. He hinted to Soin and left with Soin. Then, the two of them began to collude and discuss how to deal with Mo Qingyun. Mo Qingyun, who had already left the auction house, did not know what Soin and Soin were doing. Of course, even if Mo Qingyun knew, he would not care too much. Now, that Mo Qingyun was with Han Wanqing and the others. No matter how bold Soin was, he would not dare to touch Mo Qingyun. More importantly, Mo Qingyun planned to leave the auction house. He would find a chance to deal with Soin. He would not give Soin the chance to assassinate him. After leaving the auction house, Mo Qingyun parted ways with Han Wanqing and the others and returned to his room. After returning to his room, Mo Qingyun summoned Mo to replace him in cultivating in the room. Hidden door. After summoning Mo Qingyun used the hidden door to hide himself. Then, Mo Qingyun quietly left his room. After leaving the room, Mo Qingyun did not stop and directly went to Soin's room. That guy called Chun Hyun-myung is not a good person. I'm afraid that the young lord will be at a disadvantage if he cooperates with him. That's right. Chun Hyun-myung is a cunning guy. He wants to deal with Mo Qingyun, but he didn't do it himself. Instead, he instigated our young lord to do it. That Mo Qingyun has the support of the Purple Jade Luan Phoenix clan. They are not to be trifled with. If the young lord kills Mo Qingyun and offends the Purple Jade Luan Phoenix clan, he will be in big trouble. More importantly, Chun Hyun-myung does not have to take any risks. That guy is too cunning. When he arrived at Soin's room, Mo Qingyun saw Grandmaster Chen Fei and the others. They were repairing the formation while complaining. It was obvious that they did not like Chun Hyun-myung. They thought that Chun Hyun-myung was too cunning. Did Chun Hyun-myung recognize me? Hearing Grandmaster Chen Fei's words, Mo Qingyun furrowed his brows. He had a bad feeling about this. If Chun Hyun-myung did not recognize him, why would he team up with Soin to deal with him? Thinking that Chun Hyun-myung might recognize him, Mo Qingyun's heart sank. From his conversation with Dragon Snake, he learned that the 1,000 illusions hated people who had feelings for their avatars. If they found out that someone had feelings for one of their avatars, they would kill that person immediately. Back then, she did not kill Mo Qingyun because she was afraid of Mo Qingyun's identity. Secondly, she thought that Mo Qingyun would not go to the Wildland continent in the near future. If Mo Qingyun's identity was exposed, he would have a hard time. He would be hunted down by the 1,000 illusions. From Dragon Snake's words, Mo Qingyun knew how powerful the 1,000 illusions was. Not to mention the entire 1,000 illusions. Even the weakest branch of the 1,000 illusions was not something that Mo Qingyun could deal with. After listening to Grandmaster Chun Fa and the others' complaints, Mo Qingyun's figure flashed and entered Soin's room. After entering Soin's room, Mo Qingyun saw two familiar figures. They were Chun Hyun-myung and Soin. Brother Soin, let me tell you a secret. Actually, Mo Qingyun is from a vassal continent. Chun Hyun-myung and Soin exchanged a few words. After becoming familiar with Soin, Chun Hyun-myung explained Mo Qingyun's background. If my guess is correct, Mo Qingyun's people are still on the Tianhan continent. If you bring people to the continent and capture Mo Qingyun's people, do you think Mo Qingyun won't submit? Tianhan continent, a vassal continent. After hearing Chun Hyun-myung's words, Soin immediately revealed a cold smile, as if he had thought of a sinister plan. I originally thought that this Mo Qingyun had some sort of great background, so much so that Dragon Snake and the others would take special care of him. Who would have thought that he was a martial cultivator from a vassal continent? This makes things much easier. Seeing Soin's attitude, Chun Hyun-myung revealed a cold smile. He knew that he had achieved his goal. Mo Qingyun, it doesn't matter if you've come to the Wildlands continent or not. Once Soin brings people to the Tianhan continent, all of your people will be killed. Go to the Tianhan continent and kill my people. After hearing Chun Hyun-myung's plan, Mo Qingyun's face darkened and he released a strong killing intent. This was something that he could not tolerate. P.S. Time for the 5th watch. Good night, everyone. See you tomorrow. Chapter 1536. Who's there? Get your ass out here right now. Don't hide there. Sensing Mo Qingyun's killing intent, Soin and Chun Hyun-myung's expressions changed drastically, and they angrily shouted at Mo Qingyun. A figure gradually appeared. When Soin and Chun Hyun-myung saw the figure clearly, they were so scared that their faces turned pale and their faces twitched. Mo Qingyun had been hiding beside them all this time, but they didn't notice him at all. If that was the case, then wouldn't Mo Qingyun have heard the conversation between the two of them? You? Why are you here? Soin muttered to himself in a panic when he thought about how his plot against Mo Qingyun had been completely discovered by Mo Qingyun. Obviously, he didn't expect this to happen, and he couldn't help but feel a sense of fear. Compared to Soin's panic, Chun Hyun-myung was much calmer. He stared at Mo Qingyun with a gloomy expression and said, I didn't expect it to be you. It seems that I've underestimated you. I should have killed you with a single blow back then. Although Chun Hyun-myung looked calm on the surface, in his heart, it stirred up 1,000 waves. In just a few years, the existence that was like an ant in his eyes had actually caught up with his footsteps. This was something that he couldn't accept. One had to know that his original body was a powerhouse that was preparing to become a golden immortal. With such an original body that shared cultivation insights with him every day, he had just broken through to the star accumulation level, which was one level lower than Mo Qingyun's level. Such a huge gap was something that he couldn't accept. For example, when you were playing a game, you had a god-level account, and you were playing a new account. In the end, you lost to a random player. At that time, how would you feel? Back then, could you really have killed me? Mo Qingyun disdainfully replied to Chun Hyun-myung coldly. His expression became even gloomier as he said, Back then, if it wasn't for Qian Xiuqiao's existence, you would already be a dead man. You. Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Chun Hyun-myung's face turned red, and he couldn't refute Mo Qingyun's words. Mo Qingyun was right. Back then, although Mo Qingyun's cultivation wasn't high, his combat strength was still terrifying. Hearing the conversation between Mo Qingyun and Mo Qingyun, Zhong Yin's expression changed. His heart was filled with shock. He could tell that a few years ago, even if Mo Qingyun's cultivation was very low, Qin Xianming still wasn't his match. In the conversation just now, Soin already had a rough understanding of Chun Hyun-myung's identity. A clone of a quasi-duo golden immortal was actually not a match for a low-level martial cultivator. This was too strange. This also indirectly proved how monstrous Mo Qingyun's cultivation talent was. Since you want to touch my family, then you will have to bear my wrath. Mo Qingyun shouted angrily and raised his hand to slap Chun Hyun-myung. He was prepared to kill Chun Hyun-myung first. Mo Qingyun hated Chun Hyun-myung even more than Soin and Chun Hyun-myung. This was because Chun Hyun-myung's actions had already crossed his bottom line. A terrifying immortal spiritual energy suddenly gathered above Chun Hyun-myung and turned into a huge palm that crushed down. Divine ability, heavenly inferno. Facing Mo Qingyun's palm, Chun Hyun-myung did not dare to be careless. He immediately punched towards the sky and shouted, Mo Qingyun, many of my clan's experts are nearby. Once they arrive, you will definitely die today. In Chun Hyun-myung's opinion, as long as he could delay until his clan members arrived, Mo Qingyun would be completely finished. Unfortunately, this idea of his was unlikely to be realized. You won't be able to wait until they arrive. Knowing Chun Hyun-myung's thoughts, Mo Qingyun sneered and continued to punch towards Chun Hyun-myung. Then, the aura of the huge palm above Chun Hyun-myung immediately rose to a new level. Pa pa pa! Under the tyrannical pressure of the huge palm, Chun Hyun-myung suddenly felt the pressure multiplying. The stone tiles under his feet were shattered. Realizing that his strength was starting to fall short of his desire, Chun Hyun-myung's expression immediately changed. He said in shock, How is this possible? You are only at the Lesser Star Realm. How can you unleash the combat strength of a Constellation Realm expert? The combat strength that Mo Qingyun displayed had truly frightened Chun Hyun-myung. So strong. Seeing Mo Qingyun's combat strength, Soin's face trembled. He had a panicked expression and his face turned pale. At this moment, he could not help but feel a sense of regret. If he knew that Mo Qingyun was so terrifying, he would not have provoked Mo Qingyun. However, Soin also knew that it was too late to say all this now. Seeing Soin in a daze, Chun Hyun-myung was so angry that his eyes almost popped out. He immediately shouted at Soin, Child Soin, why are you still standing there? Hurry up and lend me a hand. Do you want us all to die here? Yes. Hearing Chun Hyun-myung's words, Soin quivered. He immediately rushed towards Mo Qingyun and shouted, Someone come quickly. Although Soin's voice was loud, Master Chun Fa and the others outside did not respond. This was because the moment Mo Qingyun entered the guest room, he had quietly laid down an array formation in the guest room, isolating it from all movement inside. Mo Qingyun did this so that when they attacked later, they could cover up the sounds of their battle. Qinjian, kill him for me. Seeing Soin rushing towards him, Mo Qingyun summoned Qinjian and ordered him to deal with Soin. After receiving Mo Qingyun's order, Qinjian's body turned into an afterimage and quickly rushed towards Soin. Soon, Soin was in a perilous situation under Qinjian's attack. Golden Immortal Stage Expert. Seeing Qinjian's sudden appearance, Chun Hyun-myung's expression immediately trembled. A look of despair appeared on his face. He knew that it would be difficult for him to escape this calamity. Mo Qingyun, my original body is a quasi-all-golden immortal stage expert. If you dare to touch me, I will definitely hunt you down to the ends of the earth. Seeing that he had no hope of escaping today, Chun Hyun-myung revealed a cold and arrogant expression and threatened Mo Qingyun. Unfortunately, this plan of his failed. You're just a quasi-all-golden immortal. Even if you're a real perfected golden immortal, I, Mo Qingyun, will still kill you today. Mo Qingyun coldly snorted and couldn't say anything disdainful. His expression instantly turned gloomy and he shouted, Chun Hyun-myung, those who kill will be killed. Since you want to kill my clansmen, then you can go to hell. Saber light from his eyes. Mo Qingyun angrily shouted. Then a purple light flashed in his right eye, and a beam of light burst forth from it. The light from his eyes turned into a saber light and flashed away. Slash! When Chun Hyun-myung caught the trace of the saber light had already cut his neck and chopped off his head. After Chun Hyun-myung's head was chopped off, his soul immediately left his body with a terrified expression. He really didn't expect that Mo Chin-yun would be so decisive and kill him without any hesitation. Chapter 1537. Mo Chin-yun, how dare you destroy my doppelganger? Once my true body recovers, I will exterminate your entire family. Chun Hyun-myung's soul escaped from his body. His body twisted in midair as he uttered these vicious words. However, before Chun Hyun-myung could finish his words, he was struck by a ray of light. His body gradually began to dissipate. Chun Hyun-myung is dead. Seeing Chun Hyun-myung's soul dissipate, Soin's face twitched. He panicked and begged Mo Chin-yun. Mr. Mo, I was wrong. Please don't kill me. Mo Chin-yun chose to ignore Soin's begging. Before Soin could finish speaking, he stabbed his halberd at Soin. Golden snake halberd. Mo Chin-yun stabbed with his halberd. His body suddenly flashed with a golden light, and his body completely disappeared. When Mo Chin-yun's body reappeared, his halberd had already pierced through Soin's head, directly dissipating Soin's soul. Chun Fa and the others outside all know that Chun Hyun-myung and Soin are talking here. If Soin dies and Chun Hyun-myung disappears, the result should be very interesting. Looking at Chun Hyun-myung and Soin's corpses, Mo Chin-yun's mind quickly turned, and he came up with a perfect plan. With this in mind, Mo Chin-yun raised his hand, and Chun Hyun-myung's body was taken away. Hidden door. After taking away Chun Hyun-myung's body and Soin's chinkoan bag, Mo Chin-yun once again concealed himself. After concealing himself, Mo Chin-yun removed the isolation formation and quietly left. Not long after Mo Chin-yun left, there was an uproar outside Soin's room. Oh no, Soin's young lord is dead. He was killed. Just now, there was only him and Chun Hyun-myung in the room. Now that Soin's young lord is dead, and Chun Hyun-myung is missing, Chun Hyun-myung must have escaped. It's him. It must be him. Chun Hyun-myung must have killed the young lord. It must be Chun Hyun-myung who forced the young lord to help him deal with Mo Chin-yun. The young lord was unwilling to cooperate with him, so Chun Hyun-myung wanted to kill the young lord. This Chun Hyun-myung is so vicious. We must report this to the clan leader and ask for an explanation from 1,000 Illusions. Looking at the scene in the room, Master Chun Fa and the others' faces were gloomy, and they said angry words. With their status, they were not particularly clear about the secrets of 1,000 Illusions. Therefore, they did not know the true strength of 1,000 Illusions. Therefore, when they saw that Soin had been killed, their first thought was to seek revenge from 1,000 Illusions. Under the noise of Master Chun Fa and the others, it quickly attracted the attention of many people, and they learned that Soin had been killed. The news spread like wildfire and soon reached the ears of Han Wanqing and the others. What? Soin was killed? Han Wanqing was shocked when he heard that Soin had been killed. He could not believe it. Nephew Mo, do you know that the young lord of the sky-devouring wolf tribe, Soin, has been killed? Seeing that Mo Chin-yun was asking for his purpose, Han Wanqing didn't hide anything and went straight to the point. Soin is dead? Mo Chin-yun's expression was one of shock. He pretended to be surprised, as if he didn't know anything about it. Seeing Mo Chin-yun's reaction, Han Wanqing and the others exchanged glances and nodded. From their actions, they were probably confirming that Mo Chin-yun had nothing to do with Soin's death. After confirming that Mo Chin-yun had nothing to do with Soin, Han Wanqing pondered for a moment, then said earnestly, Nephew Mo, Now that the sky-devouring wolf tribe has learned that Soin has been killed, they are frantically searching for the murderer. You have some conflicts with Soin in the past, so I'm worried that they will make trouble for you. So, I hope that you can come with us to the Violet Jade Lawn Phoenix clan. Hearing Han Wanqing's words, Mo Qingyun was immediately moved. He felt gratitude towards Han Wanqing. He and Han Wanqing were neither relatives nor friends. They could only be said to have met by chance. Now that Han Wanqing was so considerate towards him, it was simply too rare. Thank you for your kindness, Uncle Han, but I'm planning to head to the Nine Immortals mountain range right away. I won't be going with you. In the face of Han Wanqing's good intentions, Mo Qingyun had an ashamed expression on his face and politely rejected him. You should think about it carefully. What if the sky-devouring wolf tribe finds trouble with you? Han Wanqing was shocked and worried when he heard Mo Qingyun's thoughts. He immediately advised Mo Qingyun. After a brief moment of hesitation, Han Wanqing organized his thoughts and said, "The sky-devouring wolf tribe has sent out many golden immortal realm experts to investigate Soin's death. It's too dangerous for you to leave on your own. You should come with us to the Violet Jade Lawn Phoenix clan." Uncle Han, you don't have to worry about me. I have ways to protect myself. Mo Qingyun politely rejected Han Wanqing's kindness again. He took out a Chinquan pouch and said, "Uncle Han, there are 10 million high-grade immortal stones in here. It's to repay the money you paid for me. Please check it." Mo Qingyun's thoughts were simple. He wanted to head to the Nine Immortals mountain range as soon as possible and deal with Sie's matter. After that, he would return to the Heavenly Soul Continent and bring the Mo clan and the others to the Wildlands continent. He was worried that Chun Hyunmyung's clone would send people to the Heavenly Soul Continent after he killed Chun Hyunmyung's clone. 10 million high-grade immortal stones? Han Wanqing wasn't the only one who was moved by Mo Qingyun's words. Dragon Snake and the others were just as shocked.